Yeah. Welcome to Set Talks, where we separate fact and fiction. Mess it up amid every time. This that Set Talk, yeah, we set it straight. Cut through the noise, elevate the debate. No pseudo talk, no foggy claims. Just evidence-based when we build these frames. Set Talks, yeah, clarity first. If it ain't got method, it probably won't work. From ancient knowledge to modern science, we draw that line, that clear defined. They say the ancients had science. Hold up, pause. Knowledge ain't the same as methodological laws. Observation, yeah, but control tests rare. No predictive models, you gotta be fair. We respect the past, but we keep it exact. Precision matters when you deal with facts. Astronomy grew, astrology split. One stayed empirical, one lean myth. The shift came through naturalistic method. Just and revised, that's how we embed it. Not culture bound, not tied to a place. It's a universal tool for the human race. This got Set Talks, yeah, you said it straight. Cut through the noise, elevate the debate. No pseudo talk, no foggy claims. Just evidence-based when we build these frames. Set Talks, yeah, clarity first. If it ain't got method, it probably won't work. From ancient knowledge to modern science, we draw that line, that clear defiance. They blur definitions, start moving the goalposts. Turn fried to a claim that don't hold close. Science ain't on, this a process refined. Independent of culture, space and time. You can't redefine it to fit identity. That's how you lose all epistemic integrity. We test every claim, we don't just believe. If it can't be verified, we don't receive. From early observers to labs today, it's rigor and doubt that paved the way. Not name dropping scholars to win a debate, but data and method that validate. So what's your ideology? That's cool to ask, but truth ain't decided by the loudest class. We question it all, no sacred ground. If it don't hold up, we break it down. This that Set Talk, yeah, we live in direct. No fear in the facts, just intellectual respect. No more, no mirror, no fantasy, just truth, logic, and consistency.
Yeah, pseudo killer. We're going under the hood, past the observation, into the code, the philosophy of the machine. Let's work. I'm viewing the world through a lens that's purely mechanistic. No room for the magic, it's logic and purely statistic. Dislodge through the blueprint, saw the universe's gear. Strip the ghost from the machine and replace the myths with years of observation, calculation, cold hard dissection. Every movement in the cosmos is a physical dimension. Man is a motor, a clockwork, a bone in the vein. Mesto de laga con la brucha, I'm isolating the brain. It's the call. No absolutes in the sight. Just the lens focused sharp in the middle of the night. Nothing they law got called naturalism, the rule of the game. We don't speak it forever, we just map out the frame. Harmony, induction, probability is king. Science ain't a prophet, it's a thinking thing. Now into David Hume, the skeptic with the wrecking ball, telling you that certainty is headed for the heavy fall. Just cause the sun rose today don't mean it's guaranteed. That's the problem of induction, that's the intellectual seed. So we build on real ability, we don't claim the throne. We're just navigating reality with the data we've grown. Science stays humble, keep the absolute on the shelf. It's a system that's designed to keep correcting itself. The metric in the mix, yeah, he's calling us machines. Bearing tollback, dropping systems to find in the scene. Keep the who out the how, keep the method in the lane. We ain't arguing the spirit, we're just measuring the lane. It's a specific epistemic bridge, the root of the view. If it can't be measured, it's a different interview. Pseudo killer on the mic, breaking down the framework. Philosophy is science now, going to the brainwork. Void of absolutes, high availability. This is the foundation, the engine is running. Set Talk Season 2.
Good afternoon, and welcome to another Set Talks. How's everybody doing? Shout out to everyone in the chat. First here was Mel. Go out, good evening, Mel. Shout out to you, my good brother Mel. Tiger a hunter in the building. Peace, Michael. We got the pseudo killer, the official God killer himself in the building. We got Black Sun Forward Free. Good afternoon, my brother. Ghouls in the building. I appreciate all the work you do in the back. Ghouls, you're a fundamental part of everything we do. I appreciate you, my brother. Ben Eaton in the building. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. Folks, hit the like button, share the show. Share the show, get the likes up, let everyone know. So, Said Talks is back in the building. All right. It's been a fun ride, especially for me, having the opportunity to get to talk science and especially the mindset behind science. We've noticed throughout this endeavor that most people do not engage with science as a thinking game, but science is fundamentally a thinking game. And as you saw in the intro, we are going to take our time in the next coming days and the next coming set talks and explore these individuals and what they meant to the establishment of the modern scientific method. We've been talking about methodological naturalism, but that itself didn't emerge in a vacuum. We know that this title was applied much later by De Vries in the 1930s or 40s. However, what is paramount is that we explore now the thinkers, the minds that establish what science is. All right. So with that, let's go into our fun facts of the day. For the most of humanity's history, knowledge came from authority. If a respected thinker said something is accepted, if a, if the thinker said something is accepted, then it simply was. If a tradition preserves something, it was trusted. But what happens when authority gets it wrong? What happens when centuries of belief, carefully reasoned, widely accepted, don't actually match the world we observe? There is where the shift begins. That is that epistemic rupture I've been talking about. Not with the new discoveries, but with new questions. How do we know what we know? And is it actually true? Fun fact for today, you saw Francis Bacon. I'm going to get in trouble with that Kevin Bacon joke. I'm really going to get in trouble. Francis Bacon was a 17th century philosopher who challenged the dominant way of thinking in his time. Instead of relying on tradition or authority, he argued that knowledge should be built through systematic observation and experience. His ideas helped lay the foundation for empiricism, one of the core pillars of modern scientific thinking. With that, folks, I'm going to get into a bill for the day. Uh, Let me see. How have you been enjoying the last couple of episodes? If everyone has been enjoying Sad Talks for the last couple of episodes, please put a one in the chat. Ah, you get dead zones and stagnant growth when everyone agrees on speculation. That is a fact. That is what happened in that epistemic rupture. The community continuously think that there was a smooth transition to a methodological naturalism and the modern scientific method. And that we have seen over the last couple of episodes that that is actually not what is taking place, right? And so now for the next couple of days, we are going to dive into the minds that formed the what we now know as methodological naturalism, the overarching foundation of what we know as the modern scientific method. And yes, when I say modern scientific method, modern science is inheriting modern. The word modern is indicative in this historical account. That's why I use the word modern, but science in and of itself is inherently modern. All right. With that, let's get into talk for today. From authority to observation, the turning point in human knowledge. This series is called The Foundation of Scientific Thinking. Today's episode, we focus on the father of naturalism, all right, the father of the modern philosophical groundwork, Sir Francis Bacon. For most of human history, knowledge came from a simple place: authority. If a great thinker said it, it was accepted. If a tradition taught something, it was preserved. If a text declared something, it was defended. But what happens when authority is wrong? What happens when centuries of belief, carefully reasoned, deeply respected, fail to describe reality accurately? This is the first in the series exploring a deeper question. How did we learn to think scientifically? Not just what we know, but how we came to know it. We'll trace the philosophical journey through key thinkers who reshaped human understanding. Francis Bacon, who challenged authority and elevated observation. René Descartes, who pushed reason and systematic doubt. David Hume, who questioned whether certainty is even possible. And the French materialist philosophers who grounded the explanation firmly within nature. Together, these ideas didn't just change philosophy, they gave rise to what we now call methodological naturalism, the foundation of modern scientific thinking. To understand the shift, we first need to understand what came before it. For centuries, knowledge in Europe was shaped by scholasticism, right? We've explored that. Remember, we talked about how for 2,000 years, the Aristotelian school of thought was the way to go. It was all in the books. You needed to read the ancients. You needed to read Aristotle. You need to be grounded in his philosophical framework. That is how you know what was going on. They relied heavily on the classic texts, especially Aristotle. Oh, sorry. Religious doctrine. Remember, during this time, Adam and Eve, Garden of Eden. This was where humans came from. Animals that existed were based on the biblical narrative. This is the status quo of this day. Logical reasoning built on accepted premises. So you have these accepted premises, these Aristotelian frame of reference, his logic, and within those premises, you built your narrative. This was the same issue that was also was faced by astronomers. They had a framework in which they were doing their observations, and their observations needed to align with the philosophical framework. We see that Copernicus first was dealing with this issue, later Galileo and Kepler, right? These people were struggling with this reality because they still were firmly under these philosophical frameworks, right? Let's continue. It is rigorous, it is structured, but it had a critical limitation. It often began with assumptions that were never tested against the natural world. So even when reasoning was valid, the conclusion could still be wrong. We have seen that now play out with deductive reasoning. They have logical syllogism. However, their conclusions are wrong because their premises sound rational but are absolutely false. Bacon argued that knowledge should be built from the ground up. Gather data, observe pattern, form general conclusion. This approach became known as empiricism. There must be a there. You must quantify that there. We are not arguing from metaphysical positions. We are not assuming the conclusions. We are gathering data, observing patterns, and that will give us the story. Hmm. In the early 17th century, a different approach began to take shape. Bacon proposed something radical for his time. If we want to understand nature, we must study nature directly, not through the books, not just through logic, the old system, authoritative. teleological, deductive. We think it, we form a conclusion, and then we apply that rationale to nature. But through systematic observation and experimentation. So Bacon was the first who said, let's get your hands dirty. We need to get in the mud and actually grab this stuff and see it, feel it, taste it, see the patterns. Testing, verification. We need to know, not just read the books, get out there, study nature. What Bacon was proposing wasn't just a new technique. It was a new philosophy of knowledge, right? Instead of asking what have been told, instead of asking what have we been told is true, question mark, whether it's true or not. Bacon proposed, what can we observe to be true? So forget the books, forget everything that these dudes were saying. Forget Aristotle. Done. Let's go observe and see what is true. Let's go check this out ourselves because we don't have any faith in what is going on here. This shift seems obvious today, but at the time it was transformative. Mind you, you are divorcing yourself from 2,000 years of authority. You had good impetus, the discovery of the new world, etc., new instruments being brought on board, and because of the collapse of the authority, it became an area to delve into because the authority was collapsing, mind you. But this is still a time of authoritative rule because it challenged the very foundation of intellectual authority. This is not a smooth transition. Again, this is all within the epistemic rupture. We are going into the epistemic rupture now. We frame things, we've identified early characters, but now we're going into the thinking that produced the scientific method. This is a process. Note, no dates. They always come at the end of my series where I add the chronology. We are operating on a systems understanding. Bacon also recognized something else, something deeply important. Humans are not neutral observers. Aha, confirmation bias. All throughout this series, we have seen the cherry picking of data, the confirmation bias with which individuals engage from a natural philosophical position. They already have their assumptions, their conclusions, and now they are investigating and using the data to support their narrative. See, it says science right there. And if it says science, that's all I need to see. We are prone to bias, assumptions, and errors. He described these tendencies as idols of the mind, systematic ways in which our thinking can mislead us. So a solution was obvious. It was disciplined observation, a structured effort to minimize error and bias. So these are the seeds of methodological naturalism. They're being sold by Bacon. So again, when we're having these conversations, we're setting up frameworks, we're talking in general patterns, but it is a necessity to go deeper into the conversation so you don't get the superficial questioning like you get from Thunder and these individuals. So that's why this series is going to delve into the mind that developed over time, that methodological naturalism was developed. I stayed right there in terms of my dialogue because methodological naturalism is a key element in this whole equation. Science is a way of thinking. That's why we promote scientific literacy. It teaches you to deal with confirmation bias. It corrects you from cherry picking data. It allows you to enter into that self falsification process so that you do not come in these platforms and get brutally dismantled by others who are going to falsify your position. This is where Bacon ideas begin to shape what would later become methodological naturalism. The principle is we investigate the natural world. We look for natural explanations. We look for natural explanations, not because other explanations are impossible, but because natural explanations are testable, observable, and repeatable. Now, you see that the scientific method contains a lot more elements. However, these three are paramount when engaging with nature. From a fundamental philosophical shift in approach to how we are going to do this. No longer the inductive process, but the deductive process, sorry, but a more inductive process. Bacon didn't fully formalize his framework, but he laid the groundwork for it. But Bacon's approach wasn't perfect. Inductive reasoning, building general conclusions from observations, comes with its own challenges. I've only seen white swans. The 20 swans I've seen has been white, so swans are white. We now know for a fact that is true. That isn't true. This is a lead to what we call hasty generalization, but it's a fundamental step in the right direction. But if we would have stayed here, we would have built a science based on a lot of hasty generalizations, based on the limited observations that we can do in a particular area, in a particular time. So we would have been making hasty generalizations. We have a problem, ladies and gentlemen. Observations can be incomplete. Patterns can be misleading. And as we'll see in the next talk, even repeated experiences don't guarantee certainty. Still, Bacon's accomplishment, uh, uh, Bacon's accomplishment accomplished something essential. He shifted the focus from of knowledge from authority to evidence. This is what this fundamental aspect needs to be ingrained in our collective psyche, that there is an epistemic rupture, that there's a fundamental shift from how information is produced. We're moving away from the authority of man to now authority being nature, evidence based, and imperialism. Imperialism is birthed at this point. So in our next talk, we'll explore a different perspective, that of René Descartes. While Bacon emphasized observation, Descartes emphasized reason and doubt. And together, these two approaches begin to form the structure of the modern scientific thinking. Now, you see here that at this point we are forming a foundation and a basis for what becomes the scientific model or the modern scientific system. But these aspects of reasoning are paramount in how we ultimately investigate nature, right? And that's why science is a game of thinking. That's why this conversation should never have been held at the level or at the level of tools, the level of tools that the conversation has been that our interlocutors have tried to regress this conversation to, right, is indicative of a fundamental misunderstanding of the subject matter as a whole. This is about a way of thinking, ladies and gentlemen. Science is a thinking game. Again, your PhD is in philosophy. Philosophy is a way of thinking. Rene Descartes is going to be the focus of our next set talk. The scientific revolution didn't begin with a single discovery. It began with a question. What if we're being what if we've been approaching knowledge the wrong way? That was fundamental. What if we've been approaching it the wrong way? It wasn't a what if. If you see what Bacon decided to do and his whole philosophical approach, it's because he already reached the conclusion that the deductive manner in which knowledge was attained simply was incorrect, and there needed to be a different way. He could no longer rely on the books and the information in those books, so he understood a necessity to physically engage with the reality, investigate, get your hands wet, count, form patterns, reach conclusions. However, as we see with Bacon, Descartes is positing that we have a problem here. You are going to reach to hasty generalization. How can we trust the data? That is what we're going to see in the next talk. Francis Bacon didn't give us all the answers, but he changed where we started looking at them from. And in doing so, he helped set humanity on a path towards a more reliable understanding of reality. If we want to understand science today, we have to understand the ideas that made it possible. It is a thinking man game, and it is these ideas that form the foundation of what became modern science. That, ladies and gentlemen, short, sweet introduction to our new series. Yes, and that is the card we are going to examine. I think, therefore, I am. We're going to get into that tomorrow when we strip it all the way down and see how his contributions to modern science, how his contributions to the process of developing methodological naturalism. Don't forget to smash the like button. Copy. Let me drop the link in the chat. Boom. And give some folks a chance to get up here. In the meantime, let me do this. Stay with me. Stay with me. Bum, bum. There we go. I appreciate everyone in the building again. We're building this series, and I think it is worth building for us to get a full grounding on what the scientific method actually is, key fundamental figures that played a role in it as we continue to move along in this series. What is science, etc. Drop the link in the chat if anybody wants to hit the link. Please do so. We can talk about it. In the meantime, I will entertain y'all with a little bit of this. The cog in the machine.
Yeah, pseudo killer. We're going under the hood, past the observation, into the code, the philosophy of the machine. Let's work. I'm viewing the world through a lens that's purely mechanistic. No room for the magic, it's logic and purely statistic. This thought shoot a blooper, saw the universe's gear, stripped the codes from the machine and replaced the mist with years of observation, calculation, cold hard dissection. Every movement in the cosmos is a physical connection. Man is a motor, a clockwork, a bone in the vein. Let's don't a log, I call it brooch, I'm isolating the brain. It's the car-cooler call. No absolutes in the sight. Just the lens focused sharp in the middle of the night. Nothing a log I call naturalism, the rule of the game. We don't speak it forever. We just map out the frame. Harmony, induction, probability is king. Science ain't a prophet, it's a thinking thing. Now into David Hume, the skeptic with the wrecking ball, telling you that certainty is headed for a heavy fall. Just 'cause the sun rose today don't mean it's guaranteed. lost the intellectual seed. So we build on real ability. We don't claim the throne. We're just navigating reality with the data we've grown. Science stays humble, keep the absolute on the shelf. It's a system that's designed to keep correcting itself. The metry in the mix, yeah, he's calling us machines. Bearing tollback, dropping systems, defining the scene. Keep the who out the how, keep the method in the lane. We ain't arguing the spirit, we're just measuring the lane. It's a specific epistemic bridge, the root of the view. If it can't be measured, it's a different interview. Pseudo killer on the mic, breaking down the framework. Philosophy is science now, going to the brainwork. Word of absolutes, high availability. This is the foundation, the engine is running. Set Talk Season 2.
Thumb up the show, thumb up the show, thumb up the show. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to continue to build on this series. We talked a lot about bacon over the last couple of days, but it's necessary to ground him as the foundation of this new system, this new method that we're engaging in. Uh, Again, we're focusing on the epistemic rupture presently, that area in which this new methodological naturalism is being developed. Mind you, these individuals are all philosophers, right? What is interesting is the fact that these individuals somehow do not need to be known as scientists. Yes, however, we know that they played significant contribution to the arena of science itself. We are going to explore Descartes' contribution to mathematics tomorrow as well. However, no one calls him a scientist, right? They accept the fact that he is a philosopher and the fact that they play an instrumental role in the framing of what we call modern science today, right? So this is the paramount conversation. We could see JJ here with his comment, y'all love the white man. Now, if you understand the scientific process, and that's why JJ, you're not qualified to have this discussion. And we are talking about systems, way of thinking, and an established method that is applicable universally to investigate the world, right? So calling it the white man science is indicative of you not having become in the least scientifically literate. Literacy allows you to stop using those type of framings. Now, having said that, we know our history. We are not denying our history. We are not minimizing nothing that took place in history. However, to move forward is to adopt a scientific frame of reference in which you engage with the world, right? As we've always said, scientific literacy is the best tool available to you to make decisions for yourself, your family, your community, and by extension, the world, the larger world. So the more we engage in developing our scientific literacy, JJ, the more proficient become and stop using terminologies like this. You love the white man because I'm simply explaining and breaking down the history of the scientific method. This is the type of rhetoric where we cannot grow in our community. Right? These are the type of individuals that we need to weed out, by means of education, education, education. Right? I bet you JJ won't hit the link though, because of this conversation is definitely out of his philosophical or intellectual depth. We are now talking about the thinkers behind the scientific method, right? And this is an area where he can't say, well, they're using this tool over here, they're doing this over here, they're doing that over here, right? So this now is where we've moved the conversation away from the ability to start to look at tools, right? Observation and these type of things, because we're entering into the realm of the philosophical framework. The mind, the thinking, the scientific thinking that was developed during this period, right? The early 1600s to the early late 1500s to early 1700s, circa those 200 years of the scientific process being developed. Again, in the final episode of the series, I am going to add the chronology to all this information so that we can now actually put it all in sequence. There's a method to my madness. I like to explore the systems, examine the systems, elaborate on the systems, and then add the chronology to it. So we take a systematic approach once we are familiar with the nomenclature, the subject matter, the philosophical grounding. We can actually add time. We can actually add dates to the whole process to seal it up chronologically, where we eliminate the type of arguments that we're having in the community. What you're not going to continue to see, though, is these equivocations that are being made. Now we're going into the philosophical framework of what science is, and then you can't get around the fact that it is these thinkers, these philosophers that form and produce what we know as modern science today. Y'all with me? Put a one in the chat. If anyone wants to hit the link, you can get up here our conversation. If you have any questions or any observations, feel free to do so. This is the time in the show where we get to dialogue, talk about it a bit, as long as we stay within the framework, as long as we stay within the framework of the presentation. Today, we are examining the philosophical framework, the thinking, the scientific thinking, and its development. How we got to where we are in terms of how we engage with reality. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Yeah, I'm looking for some interaction. I would love someone to jump up here. Lex nowhere around sneaking. So yes, the conversation today was about the philosophical framework, the mind that is required to engage with science, and I knew this is where we needed to go. Far too often in these conversations, the equivocation is being made with tools, right? They're doing observations. They're doing observations. They got tools. They building. This is not what the conversation of science is about. And as you see, the conversation about science is about a particular way of thinking. And that's something that we need to continue to hammer and drill home in this conversation. So that's why I decided to take us down the road of, yes, JJ, those old white men that had the room, the finances, and the time on their hand to sit on their butt and think about this stuff. The Africans couldn't do it. We were being enslaved, if you don't remember. This is in the time of the great discovery, the age of discovery. Europe was at the head of the world financial market. They controlled the world economy. So yes, it is those rich white men that had the room and the ability to develop this. It is what it is, JJ. So there is no reason for me to fight it, deny it, or argue against reality. It's just an acceptance and dealing with things the way they are. But it's no love for a white man. It's an acceptance of history as it is, without emotional baggage, without any type of hate or feelings towards history. It is what it is. That tool has simply benefited the world, and here we are today. Savio, what's good, my brother?
What's up with it, Sad? That was well
I'm good.
put.
You?
And the show was well put together. And, you know, it's interesting when we talk about, like, we could talk about the other subjects. And when we talk about other subjects, it's cool to talk about the development of them, how things built up. But when it comes to this particular aspect, it's like, nah, every little thing you mentioned, take the buildings, the nanometers, all the things that they use in antiquity somehow is science, or is what we consider modern science. No, it was them using technology and ideas to help advance their communities, to help things repeat. and show that these things work. And we kept those ideas. The things that worked, we kept. The things that didn't, we got rid of. One of the things we didn't get rid of that we argue about, and we know the ancient people kept, a lot of them kept, is their religious thinking. And their religious thinking was applied the to the technological advances and things like that. At the end of the day, when they ran out of answers, the spirits, the gods, the whim is what made these things tick and work. Why we just can't accept that part of the conversation and then recognize that there had to be a split. And in that split, there had to be what?
Is
Some type of financial backing. Like you just don't
it
get
is
there with just
yeah. Go ahead,
belief.
sorry.
Go ahead, bro. You good.
Yeah, that is going to be central in the development of this process. Of course, you know exactly where this is going, uh, and once we get to the final episode, when we deal with the French materialists, we are going to come full circle in understanding that we have to take the ghost out of the machine. Far too often, our community still relies on the ghost in the machine, and that ghost in the machine is where science is where the ghost in the machine dies. And far too often, even in this conscious community, the idea of divorcing our psyche from the divine, right, is something that that's a step too far. You can hear it in most of the pushback that we are getting. Right, it is the refusal to surrender authority to nature. Human tendency is they need some form of control. As the series develop and we reach to the point that we accept when David Hume gets talked about, and we accept the fact that, hey, there is no certainty. We're dealing with high probability. This is going to even further create some kind of cognitive issue. I already foresee the fact that we promote scientific literacy in the human mind, in the natural human psyche. They're assuming or equating science now with absolute or certainty. And when we get into the conversation of probability, it's going to even further confuse some of the audience. But that is what Set Talk is here for. We slow the conversation down, and we work our way through it, right? You're going to see less and less pushback from this point on. Because now we're no longer in the realm of the tools. The conversations have now elevated to the system, to thinking, right? There are no tools in play here. This is a philosophical endeavor. That's why, if you see now, go back to the initial start of this conversation, was very stoic. I said methodological naturalism is science and nothing else. Because I understood that the conversation was happening on a level of observable effect, right? People think science is a cell phone, is a computer, is StreamYard. These are the results of science. So they don't understand that science requires a particular way of engaging with reality. This conversation is 100% about the way we think. And what has been exposed over this last couple of weeks, the interactions that we've been seeing on a different channel, is we exposing flaws in way of thinking. Now, there's nothing wrong with maintaining a natural philosopher's point of view that you want to reason your way through things, but reality have proven itself to be counterintuitive. We know that for a fact now. So therefore, engaging with reality purely from a deductive standpoint will no longer suffice. Now, why did I say purely? Because in deductive reasoning is part of human nature, causality, and it works. It works for a great extent. You can reason your way through most situations. but you can't reason your way through understanding the natural world. We weren't designed to understand the natural world. We were designed, or we evolved to scrap that word. The creationists will hear me say design and assume that I meant a designer. Scrap that word from the lexicon.
We
I
evolve to survive.
evolve to survive in our environment. And
Mm-hmm.
survival means reach the age of reproduction. We see a
Mm-hmm.
small spectrum, we see but a small spectrum of light. Let's be honest. There are animals that have far greater insight because they see an infrared. They have night vision. So there are animals with superior vision than us. They see the world a whole completely different way. The frame rate with which we process the world, dogs, for example, process it at 3 or 4 times the frames per minute. If you want to use that analogy, right? So there is a lot more. There's a lot more amazingness in nature than we assume. So this is why we did not evolve to be able to accurately describe nature. Our deductive reasoning allows us to continuously say, at this day and age, the sun rises and sets, because that's
Right.
deductive. It seems rational and it works for us in our communication. Scientifically, we understand a whole different process, but this is a
Right.
great point of intersection between deductive and inductive. Inductively, we understand that the world is spinning around the sun. Deductively,
Right.
our everyday perception is that the sun is setting, and that
Can
and
I?
that remains a feature of reality, whether we understand cognitively by deductive reasoning that this is not the case, yet in inductive reasoning, yet deductively the sun sets.
Right.
So this
And
is,
you know
yeah.
what?
Go ahead.
I was just thinking about that when you brought them up. I was just thinking about the different levels of reasoning. And I think a lot of us, not us, a lot of people are only using deductive reasoning. They're not using abductive or inductive reasoning to get to
Indeed,
these
that's
other areas
and I've
of
had the
conclusion
lane
and
east
and,
there.
and, and and ask themselves other questions. So the
I've been
deductive reasoning is where they've been trained to reason from. And because that has worked, they can't step into the world of inductive or abductive reasoning. And those two ways of reasoning are very difficult to actually learn and begin to use.
You're absolutely right. Um, 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 Deductive reasoning is our primary go-to, right? And it works for the most part. Yet again, when you're dealing with science, because we didn't evolve to dissect reality, we need to accept the fact that our deductive reasoning will only get us but so far. You need inductive, and even when you engage in inductive reasoning, you still need guidelines to not reach to hasty generalization, right? There is also always a tentative there, because reality is stranger than fiction. You might come around the corner, and one day, the assumption that you always have, you will find something that an exception to the rule. So the absolute nature in which people engage with reality, they want absoluteness, they want definitive answers. Science nor reality provides us with that. The most we can get to is probabilistic outcomes, right? You can have 100% probability or 0% probability, right? But it's still a probable outcome. Now, this is all about thinking, and during this upcoming series, we are going to develop and investigate this scientific mindset, right? We keep talking about scientific literacy, and we are science promoters, and now we're here at the point that we are actually going to delve into the mind behind scientific literacy, how we do to how this frame of reference is developed, and it's going to be challenging for some individuals psychologically because it requires you denying your instincts. You are absolutely yes.
That's crazy. That's crazy. And to call it essay as evolution. So crazy.
You know, I did a whole presentation, and I think in this format starts on how completely that notion is. I mean, you are looking at metamorphosis or you're looking at maturity, right? You're looking at the development, the going from infant to developmental to your teenage years to your final mature product. Now you can see some animals look a lot different as a baby or as an adult. And other animals, you have simply the fact that they go through a stage of metamorphosis, which is part of each at the part of the genetic makeup of the animal. That is metamorphosis. It happens within the species. That is not evolution, none in the least. These animals evolved to be able to do metamorphosis. Like, that's why it's fun to stay in the realm of how we reason, how we think. Again, if you never falsified your own position, if you never simply question whether or not this is accurate, and you continuously spew this information, it is indicative of deductive reasoning. It kind of sort of look like it kind of sort of look like but caterpillars don't evolve into butterflies. Absolutely. This is the logic that we're dealing with here. Oh boy.
And you
Yes, Abio. So we got our work cut out for us, but that's the environment we choose to be in. And it is a strategic approach, right, to now engaging in how the scientific mind works, how this process of engaging with reality was developed. What are the guardrails? What are the pros? What are the cons? So we are going to get into we're going to end up with the French materialist who brings human beings full into the circle of nature. Up until this point, now don't forget, even Descartes is a dualist, right? He has the notion of mind-body dual separation. Now, I told people if you want to go down this rabbit hole with me, it's going to be a fun ride, right? You're going to increasingly have to delve into philosophy. This is a mind game and it's a
know what?
mind field. If you're not
And you know,
properly studying, you're going to get lost. Go ahead, Sibin.
yeah, it's funny because when you think about it, or when we talk about this, I was actually talking about this a few years ago on Q Butter's channel to this dude I call Roy Checkers. He was talking about deductive reasoning, and I was trying to tell him that science doesn't delve with deductive reasoning only. It deals with inductive and abductive reasoning. And I brought up the definitions and he argued me down. But the abductive reasoning, also called abduction, abductive inference, or retroduction, is a form of logical inference that seeks the simplest and most likely conclusion from a set of observations. It was formulated and advanced by the American philosopher and logician Charles Sanders Peirce beginning in the latter half of the 19th century. Abductive reasoning, unlike deductive reasoning, yields a plausible conclusion but does not definitively verify it. Abductive conclusions do not eliminate uncertainty or doubt, which is expressed in terms such as best available or most likely, while inductive reasoning draws general conclusions that apply to many situations. Abductive conclusions are confined to the particular observations in question. And this is what I was trying to get the audience and him to understand, that science is looking for the best possible, but they're always open to other questions or
Yes,
other
that
possibilities.
that is based on the fact that Hume had a big role in that. So if you look at Descartes, Descartes says question everything, right? And so you can come to the best possible answer. Accept nothing. Accept nothing. What you need to do is question everything. He reached to the point that he questioned his own existence, and when he realized he couldn't question his own existence, you built from there. However, that inductive reasoning leads to hasty generalization, right? Because you're making a particular observation, and now you're generalizing the conclusion you reach based on this observation, which can be correct. Now you're applying this general conclusion to everything. This is where the problem comes in. And that's why Hume said, wait a minute, you don't have certainty. Not because the sun raised every day for your life doesn't mean it's going to raise tomorrow, right? What you have is justified, true justified belief based on it having been done. So you're justified in assuming that, but you do not have any certainty. And this is where now this other form of what you just said, the word, it slipped me. Repeat that word.
Abductive reasoning.
Yes.
Abductive.
So now we are going to tentatively reach these conclusions, only limit them to the observations we're dealing with at the current hand. We are not going
But
to be
say
able, yeah, we're not going to be able
keep it
to apply this
go
in general.
at the example they used was the black swan fallacy that you
There
mentioned
you go.
earlier.
There you go.
It
You see
says
how
it
these
says
things
for
all come
example,
together.
if all swans that a person has observed so far are white, chill out. They may infer that a universal categorical proposition of the form, all swans are right. They have good reason to believe the conclusion from the premise because it is the best explanation for their observations. But the truth of the conclusion is not guaranteed. Indeed, it turns out that some swans are black. So, if this is how science advanced itself, had it not started saying, you know what, these hasty generalizations leads to faulty conclusions and misrepresentations of the world, we have to go further, then science would have stopped there. So thank the people who continue to question the questions. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. Say it.
Oh, my bad. I didn't know my mic was muted. Sorry. That's where that self-correcting mechanism in science becomes now a real thing, right? Because what you get is that self-correcting aspect of science, built into the system because of the doubt, that was created by David Hume. So that doubt, what can seem to be a negative, is actually a fundamental aspect of the scientific method, right? Because that doubt makes you continuously go back to that vicious circle of testing, examining, hypothesis, that vicious circle that is science. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome God Killer to the panel. God Killer, what it do, what it do, what it do.
What up, Aunt?
God Killer, you got the flow. Probably on mute.
Yeah,
You
you
on mute?
muted me. Yeah, you muted me out. Y'all was talking about inductive and deductive. That's what I was talking
Yes,
about.
sir. Yes, sir.
And also
And
abductive. And also abductive
okay, I don't
reasoning.
need that. I don't need that. You threw me off now. God damn it. I didn't hear that part. Shit. I'm trying to get with this. So the first one is what? Deductive. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
And you talked about the swans, all swans, since all these swans are black, or all of them are black, or something like that.
The black swan fallacy. So
Meaning that,
all swans are white, and
my
since
fault.
you all the swans you've seen are white, your conclusion will be all swans are white, but that's fallacious because some swans are black.
Okay, so
And that comes
I
from
got you. I heard you. Let me get it. Let me get it. I got you. So let me show you how that works for you in evolution. You see three cats, right, walking together, and one of them is a murderer and a stick-up man. So based off that, do deductive reasoning. You say, well, I deducted the rest of the motherfuckers is wild and stick-up man. That kind of helps save your life in that situation. But it's probably bad for science. I just wanted to throw that little simple thing in there for y'all on why we have this type of thinking and how is it important for the scientific method to actually break down that bias right there. I'm
Yes,
done.
facts.
sir.
I just want to put that in there. I want to show you how the brain works. But go ahead.
Yes, and we alluded to that fact that deductive reasoning allows you to. It is a tool that we use to navigate reality, right? Cause and effect is an actual element of our reality. So, although inductively we understand that the sun, that we move around the sun, deductively the sun rises and sets, and that works absolutely fine for us to navigate reality, right? If a car is speeding, right, and I move in the middle of the road, it's gonna hit me, cause and effect, right? So an aspect of our nature, right? We will never divorce deductive reasoning. It is your number one go-to. That is our engagement with reality on a day-to-day basis. This is why science, our understanding of the natural world, falls in the category of counterintuitive. You need induction alongside your deductive reasoning. And once you understand that
What?
inductive reasoning can create
Huh?
general
Why you thought I
hasty
was in?
generalizations. Once you
Huh?
understand that inductive reason can create hasty generalizations, you are now going to put the restraints on, like what Sabia said, that you're going to limit that induction to the particular phenomena that you're investigating. This ties in with Hume's humility. Not because the sun rose every day, son, you think it's going to rise tomorrow. Slow your roll. That conclusion you reach is tentative. And that's what makes science built in safety mechanism, built-in check valve. That tentativeness, epistemic humility allows for science to develop and maintain a self-correcting mechanism because our answers are only probabilistic and tentative.
That's great.
Oh shit. Just for taking you off mute. Go ahead. I'm sorry, my bad.
I said that's great for the Stone Age, but horrible for science, huh?
Definitely. Definitely. And we've
All right.
seen that throughout the discourse over the last couple of days, right? Over the last couple of weeks. We are dealing with inductive reasoning. We are limiting the answers to the evidence in front of us. And we are dealing with individuals who are using their common sense to
Mm-hmm.
navigate a discussion that is counterintuitive, right?
Yes.
That's why they're operating on the arena of the tools, right? Human
Mm-hmm.
elements that we see coming back and back again and cannot engage on the philosophical framework. You see, for
Mm-hmm.
example, they cannot understand or accept the epistemic rupture. They see linearity.
Mm-hmm.
They see a gradual, oh, they got more information, and eventually collecting all the information is going to lead to modern science. So
Mm-hmm.
this is why we need to stay right here in the
Mm-hmm.
framework of thinking, scientific thinking. Your initial presentation was the development of scientific thinking. So now
Mm-hmm.
that presentation
Mm-hmm.
combined with the actual thinkers, their thought
Mm-hmm.
process, and how it developed what we call methodological naturalism over time is going to get us right where we always talked about. We are here to teach scientific literacy, not to make you a scientist, but to teach scientific literacy. And scientific literacy is within the realm of philosophical frameworks. So this first episode was really establishing what a Bacon meant to
All right, you
naturalism,
too. Good night.
and now we are going to continue to develop the series around the philosophers, the thinkers. Now, what is interesting is I want to see how much of these philosophers they are going to start to argue whether they are scientists or not. Because Descartes, again, he unified geometry and algebra. No one in the history of these conversations ever mentioned him as a scientist. Yet his mathematical principles form the foundation for what later becomes the scientific method. So you see how these individuals overlap, and at the same time, they are firmly rooted in what we call natural philosophy. These dudes were spooked out on the one hand. Newton surely was.
Yeah, you are.
He didn't develop that sophisticated framework of the French naturalists who are materialists who grounded human beings in nature. The dualism concept was killed by the French philosopher, whereas Descartes he maintained mind-body dualism. So, are you going to call someone that is mind-body dualist a hardcore scientist or a natural or philosophical naturalist? That is someone who is deeply entrenched in philosophical naturalism. The authority that he has does not allow him to clearly separate the two, although you see initial steps being made. That's why these individuals are bridged. But when we're talking about the philosophical parameters, then these arguments about the tools simply fall to the side.
Man, I
Mm.
don't get it though. But I do. It's starting to make sense because you would have to be familiar with these levels of philosophy,
Mm-hmm.
of philosophical thinking to understand how
Mm-hmm.
they apply in the scientific world. How
Mm-hmm.
after you induce something, you can also abduce something. Now, abduction works like this. You say you walked outside,
Uh-huh.
right?
Uh-huh.
And your lawn was wet. You can
Uh-huh.
abduce that it rained overnight.
Uh-huh.
Now, another person or another couple could walk outside and their lawn could be wet, and they could abduce that the lawn got wet overnight. Both help orient yourselves to the world, but whatever the actual conclusion is, if it rained or if somebody wet the lawn,
Uh-huh. You messed
it's
that up.
still a possibility.
You
The
messed that up.
possibility is still there. No, it's the possibility
You did.
that exists.
You said. I'm saying. I don't know if you made it. You said the person walk outside and said it rained. No, the
Hmm.
lawn is wet because of rain. And then you said the other couple walk outside and said it just was wet. I thought you was gonna give a reason for why it was wet. That's
Because
what I was thinking. Oh, you just saying it
uh,
was wet because the grass is wet.
yes.
All right, okay.
Now
All right.
they could abduce that the lawn got wet because there's a sprinkler system
Oh, okay.
or
You didn't give
somebody
the
wet
example.
the
That's what I'm
lawn.
saying. You didn't actually give an example for that second one.
Okay.
I got, but I
Yeah.
kind of knew what you meant though. I just wanted to kind of clear that up. I got it. Makes
Yeah.
sense. I got you.
So,
So you saying
but
that's not
either
good for
way,
science
those
though?
possibilities, right?
Is
And that
there?
works with science
Mm.
because now it leads into the black swan. So
Yeah, I
that's
got you.
why
So
the
I got you. I got
induction
it.
from the black swan
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
leads to the abduction and
Mm-hmm.
opens up the realm. So that's how science kept
I
extending
got it.
itself.
Appreciate you. Mhm. Yeah, I got you. I got it. I understand it. No, so
Yeah, and that
I'm putting it in simplified form, right? So I got the whole. I mean, but that's why it's important for the phenomenon to be the authority. You know what actually
exactly.
occurred and why, right? Like, okay, the lawn is wet, but okay, what's the why? Why is it wet? So hunter-gatherer tribes, they just need to know it's wet. And there may be certain things that will happen when the grass is wet. They just need to know that. Like you run too fast on the grass and cut an animal might be able to catch you or something like that, right? So you just need to know it's wet and stay away from that area. You don't need to know the why it's wet. The reason behind it is not even important at that point, in that stage in our development. I got you. Yep.
Yes, sir.
And this is what people, they can't make that, they don't get it. They think that the sciences need to be like, it's like, that's not even part of their world. Didn't have to be. It wasn't, and they wasn't there long enough to know why it fucking rained. You just need to know it rained. And when it rained, the rivers fill up and more drinking water. They just need to know that part. The rivers is filling up, we need to be able to get it.
Or
and maybe
fish.
store some. Or fish, however it is, absolutely. So I like to put into the regular shit because everybody want to just howl and scream and act like hey, you had to have science. Like it's the most ridiculous thing ever, bro.
Yeah. So now I want to see how the conversation is going to shift because the pillars of science, right? Whether we want to accept it or not, JJ came over here and was doing the most. Why? Because
Recently?
no, in the chat he accused us of loving the white man. Why? Because these are simply the individuals that formed and produced the scientific method, right? The philosophical framework, the conversation, again, I kept saying it, it's a thinking man's game. And these are some of the key philosophers that developed that framework, what we call methodological naturalism. I throw the word in the arena, in the lexicon, and as usual, most people are on the other side assume that this word exists in a vacuum, right? That it boop, popped up and it was fully formed and it was complete. No, we see here too the development. People are actively thinking about how we are going to produce knowledge in a viable and in an epistemically valid way. Why? Your whole epistemology, your whole epistemic parameter fell away. Natural philosophy simply was not working. So these philosophers are the ones who formulate the framework, the system on which science is built. You cannot escape Francis Bacon. You cannot escape Descartes. You cannot escape David Hume and the thinkers like him. You cannot escape the French materialists who argued even against Descartes' position. So you
Cedric,
see,
Cedric,
yes, go ahead.
you made a statement. You said it wasn't working. So how did they know it wasn't working? What made them start to realize it wasn't working?
Inconsistencies, incompatibilities. The
Hmm.
books didn't line up with reality. Again, the sailor that came back from across from the New World, in one instant, he had more knowledge than the whole body of 2,000 years of philosophical making it
What?
up stuff.
we need to get a source on that to read that. The audience need to put that in our server. That's a great point.
Yeah, I'm gonna look
It's
for
a
that.
great point.
So
Yeah, look for
understand,
that.
when they went sailing, they left with a world map that had 3 continents on it, bro.
Yeah. yeah, that's funny. That's hilarious, bro. That's hilarious. I mean,
I'm laughing, but
yeah, we
understand,
keep
right?
saying it. It's quick. You're right. That's a whole. Yeah, that's the paradigm shift. That's the whole thing. That's the whole. That's the conversation right there. Yo, that's like, imagine. That's like we come back and realize, yo, it was 2 more continents on Earth, but they was kind of like sunk a little bit. Had a bubble with people underwater. We were like, whoa, the scientific method
And
obviously didn't work because we ain't never seen. That's 2
you need to
continents
take
down
a
there, and the
look
people
at the
can
craziness
breathe.
that
Well, hold on. That's 2 continents down there in the middle of the ocean, and people actually breathing water. It would throw us for a loop. It's a loop.
And you know what makes it even funnier? The majority of those maps were based off of a religious type of framework. So you can even go into things like the Hereford map or the
Okay.
Catalan map,
Okay. Okay.
and they were all religiously based.
Mm.
Yep. They
Meaning
were
based off
looking
what,
for
Even
bro?
Eden,
Religion based off what? What you mean?
Eden of the Bible,
mean mean
off of
mean
these religious concepts.
meaning off the Bible.
Oh, that's right. That's why they only got right. So the Bible only knew such. I got you. I was trying to get you to give us the direct.
Now, imagine the confusion with
Ah,
all
yourself the
these
Bible.
renowned
It was
map
done.
makers, and
It
these
was
sailors
done.
come back with some rough drawings, and now they are attempting to adjust their maps. So there are a whole bunch of
Yeah, it's
pictures
good.
where
Yeah.
there's a total confusion. The maps got little drawings on them. Confusion because your whole epistemic parameter fell apart. These renowned map makers that were making maps for years, that were trained, that read all the books, that knew
Mm-hmm.
exactly how it was, were proven wrong by an illiterate sailor with scabies and his teeth falling out his mouth.
He's like, hold on now. There's two more things right there, bro. Hold on now. They don't look like nobody ever seen them
It's
people.
in the whole continent right there, bro. How you skip over
Crazy.
them?
Yeah,
You
your
know, it's
knowledge
people
must
on
have
that
been
land
slick.
right there too.
And they not walking upside down. How about that? Because they thought people were walking upside
And
down.
they not walking upside down. And they don't. And you know what's even funnier? When you look at those maps, a lot of the people that they depicted, they
Mhm.
were weird looking. This goes back to me depicting those people with the big old ears and the big old feet. You know,
Oh
the
yeah, they had
doctor,
different.
what did they
Mhm,
call them? Doctors Feli and
mhm.
all those the I can't remember. I got books on them though, and I'm gonna post some of them in the Discord. But this is how they were depicting other people on the planet with big feet, big ears, heads in their chest.
Mm. So, yeah.
Logically deduced, of course. If our size is this size by these metrics, then of course the people on the other side would need much larger feet, won't you think? That's beautiful. Logically deduced. Beautiful, beautiful reasoning.
Say it
It's a
again,
logic.
yo. Say it
It's
again.
a logic.
Say it again. What?
I'm just making shit up. If
Oh,
our feet are this size because we are in this type of environment, then the people on the other side, their feet must be twice as big to be able to cope with their environment. It's logically deduced. It's sound. It's rational. What's wrong with it? Don't
hey,
make no sense because it don't
hey,
match up to
Cedric.
reality.
Can can you pull that source when they talking about they was walking upside? They thought they'd be walking upside down.
Let me see if I can find it.
That's the Encyclopedia Britannica, the history of science. Go
In
down to the section.
Australia, down in Australia,
No, you stupid, yo.
on
No,
the other side of the world.
no. Let me finish saying. Come on, bro. So I'm trying to tell them what the source said. Is in the Encyclopedia Britannica, and it's underneath the title is entitled "The Authority."
The authority. Okay.
Uh-huh. When authority gets challenged. Remember Leonardo da Vinci challenged it because he was like,
Mhm.
I hate what they were saying, but I'm sitting here watching that daggone that cannonball fly, yo, and it's not going straight, yo. I see it. So I can't even go with that no more. I need to go on what I'm seeing. Right. So he kind of pushed that, and then you get them looking for finding the Americas. Yep, the authority. I think it's titled the authority.
Yes. I'm going through it prehistory.
You see it?
And I'm going down. I'm going down.
Look on the
So I think
side. It
it's
might be.
chronological. On the side,
You can see it on the side. I think you might be able to click that tab, the authority.
uh,
Well, it's going to be on the page though, but I thought you could get to it straight to it.
because I'm
So,
not seeing it on the side.
all right, we'll just go straight down then. The authority.
Yeah,
Because they got China, they got different countries. They
yeah,
mention everything. That's why we told people to read the damn thing and
yep,
stop acting like it was one place. But people don't want to listen. They rather argue. But that's all right.
yeah. Especially if you said these are the two sources you need to engage to have this conversation.
Yeah,
Why
just
would
read that.
yeah? It takes you straight through.
Yeah, read that.
19th century. 21st century. No, I think I passed it. I think I passed it. I think I've passed it. Let me look again.
Yeah, it's authority, yo.
No, we did. You went to it in your on your show. Remember, you pulled it
Yeah.
up, so I know what it is. I can see it in my mind's eye, but I can't find it
Mm,
there. So I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna
mm.
find it. Savio, you have the floor for a second while I do a little quick search.
Yeah. Uh,
What? I'm listening.
you think we've been effective with these people? Do you think they're actually
No.
in this conversation to learn or just
Yeah.
push an agenda?
Oh no, they just pushing the agenda. But the people that's here learning, they learning, yo. They and I'm saying they gotta learn. I'm learning. Shit. How the hell people ain't learning? It's
Right.
I mean,
Right. So
I,
learning is the residual effect.
everybody learned. Nobody knew it was gonna be. I had the general history of science. I didn't know it was gonna be that difficult. And as we got into it, I realized it was terms that I take for granted. And since I, been studying Stone Age coaches for so long, right? That I already knew what they had and didn't have. So I already know not to think it was that, right? And I had already understood the intelligence was the same, right? So then why don't they have a plane if the intelligence is the same? So those basic lines I could draw in the sand, right? And so it's
Right.
not the intelligence. So I already recognize it's not their brain power nor their intelligence, and it's not the color of their skin. It's not that. It's just how
Here
well
we
they
go.
interpret nature.
Authority
Okay.
control.
Yeah. So go up a little bit.
This
Start.
one,
You just read that.
authority control.
Yes. Yes. Can you hear me? You hear me?
Uh, yes, I can hear you.
Okay. So go ahead and read Leonardo da Vinci right
Yes,
at
I
the
can hear
top.
you.
Start there. All right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Go ahead.
Wait a minute.
No.
Read it.
That's Wikipedia.
All right.
No. No. I said no. Not Wikipedia. Britannica.
Stop sharing. All right.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Britannica. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me go to
That's why you
Britannica.
ain't see.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hmm.
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Yeah.
I can hear
Britannica.
you. I can hear you. Yeah. So Britannica. Okay, good. That's
Yeah.
a problem. Okay. Let me look for that. Britannica.
So remember, I was talking about how they depicted people in the 12 from like the from early on, from antiquity on. They
Hmm.
depicted savages, wild men, monsters, races, and things like that.
Hmm.
Well, I got the paper. Like I said, I knew I had it. I just had to open up my laptop and figure out where it was. Um, and these are like they really have pictures of some of these people of how they
Hmm.
depicted them in the 13th century with like people could fly with their ears on
What was they?
and
They
use
were
them as
just guessing.
covers.
You saying they was guessing? What you saying?
They were just guessing.
Oh, okay.
But these were depictions of and some people was and some of these stories were stories that they were heard of other people from other people passed down and they were right about them.
Hmm.
And I guess one tale from would just change over time. And the next thing you know, these people got faces in their chests and they eat people. Got legs where arms should be.
Okay. So let me share this, and then we could
Okay.
go through it piece by piece. I think I got the right one here, right?
Yeah. Hold on. I can't look,
So
yo.
you
Hold
got
on.
authority,
It's gonna say the authority. Let me see.
authority, society. I can click
Yeah. I
on this
normally
one.
just go.
Roman Catholic
Yeah.
Church.
Nah. You gotta go to the history of science. You into history of science?
Yeah, that's what it's supposed to be looking at, the history of science.
You might have used up. No, that's authority. Nah, I ain't. Nah. Is that an article
Yeah.
history of science? Hmm?
Uh, it's supposed to be, because
Just
I
type in
told
the
it
history.
history
You
of
typed in
science.
the no. Let me see. You put the history of science in there? That said authority up
Hmm.
there. History of science.
go into the history of science
Mm-hmm.
right
Mm-hmm.
here,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'm going to look for authority, right? Yes, yes, yes. Oh, that's wrong. I know it's spelled wrong. Yeah, it takes me to here. No, man, I'm doing something wrong. The history of science. History of science. Boom. Let's go in there. Just gonna open that. Mhm. Partnership, but I'm thinking China. Birth of natural philosophy. Keep going. Aristotle and Archimedes. I know I saw that article. Medieval European soils. Uh-huh. The authority of phenomena.
You don't see it?
This is where you want me to
You
be?
can't see
Yeah.
it? Yeah, yeah.
Authority
The
of
film.
phenomena.
Ah,
Yeah.
there you go. Okay, go ahead. Read that.
Even
Read
as
that paragraph.
Dante
Go.
was writing, as Dante was writing his great work, deep forces were threatening the unitary cosmos he celebrated. The pace of technological innovation began to quicken, particularly in Italy. The political demands of the time gave new importance to technology, and a new profession emerged, that of civil and military engineer. These people faced practical problems that demanded practical solutions. Leonardo da Vinci is certainly the most famous of them. Through, though he was much more as well, a painter of genius, he closely studied human anatomy in order to give uh, very similar verisimilitude, verisimilitude to his painting. That means making them lifelike. As a sculptor, he mastered a different technique of casting metal. As a producer, director of the form of Renaissance dramatic production called the mask, he devised a complicated machinery to create special effects. But this was an military engineer that he observed the path of the mortar bomb being lobbed over a city wall, and insisted that the projectile did not follow straight lines. A slanted accent followed by the vertical drop. And Aristotle had said that said it must. Leonardo and his colleagues needed to know nature truly. No amount of book learning could substitute for actual experience, nor
Mm,
could books impose their authority upon phenomena. What Aristotle and his commentators asserted as philosophical necessity often did not jibe with what could be seen with one's own eyes. The
mm,
hold of ancient philosophy was too strong to be broken lightly. But a healthy skepticism began to emerge. Yes,
So
that's
okay,
exactly
so
what
hold
you
on
said.
right there. So
Yes.
okay, so you see how strong that authority is. Even though I'm sitting here looking at the damn thing curving, they said it wasn't right, and
Mhm.
and we can't. It's hard to challenge that authority. See how crazy that is.
Yep.
See,
It
all right.
established over 2,000 years, right? And
Mm-hmm.
based on tradition, right? And
Mm-hmm.
based on tradition, it is hard to let that go. Your whole cultural container, your way of thinking, your societal norms, all of this is wrapped up in how you produce knowledge. So this is why that epistemic rupture was so fundamental and not a casual gathering of more information. The frameworks fundamentally needed to change, and this is illustrated here, right? The projectile did not follow a straight path. It could not follow a straight path because gravity was having an effect. For it to follow a straight trajectory, gravity could not be exerting its force on the object. And once that becomes visible, it now is a factor because it's going to determine how how much force you need to cover a particular distance, taking into account that gravitational pull over that distance, right? Your mathematics now becomes your whole mathematic paradigm needs to shift in how you calculate to make these weapons efficient. So there, based on the necessity, right? You needed to challenge the authority because the authority was going to get you killed. I'm muting you, Mike. Come up, you know.
Can you hear me?
Come up, you. Yeah,
Can
can you
you
hear you now?
You said the authority's gonna get you killed or get you out of a job, yo. That's how he making his money, bro. He ain't trying to hear that. Hold on, bro. I hear y'all, yo, but hold on, bro.
Hold on. Hold
You
on.
can just say,
Anyway,
hold on for a minute, bro. Hold on, bro. Let me do this for somebody else see this. Okay, okay, keep going. So I want to be able to explain that. You got to keep explaining several different ways, several different times. Okay, see how it
yep.
is. So okay, so we now we need a situation where the Egyptians challenge the authority, right? We
Huh?
see it, we see it a little bit in the papyrus. Am I correct? But we don't see the constant things hitting that would allow them to change that tradition of 3,000 years. Correct? Because they got a tradition of 3,000 years
Yep.
of
3,000.
spells and medicine.
And a
Okay.
scribal tradition. A
Scribal
scribal
tradition.
tradition, not less.
That's right.
So
Okay.
Gould said,
Yeah.
read a little bit more. Let's do a little bit more readership.
Yeah. Go ahead. Go right.
So I
Keep going
was
because it get good. It get
all right.
good.
The first
We.
really serious blow to the traditional acceptance of ancient authorities was the discovery of the New World at the
Mm-hmm,
end of the 15th century.
mm-hmm.
Ptolemy, the great astronomer and geographer, had insisted that only the three continents of Europe, Africa, and Asia could exist. A
Mm-hmm.
Christian scholar of St. Augustine Muda
Oh shit, man! I can't
had
keep it on.
accepted it. For otherwise, men would have walked upside down on the antipodes. But Ptolemy, St. Augustine, and a host of other authorities were wrong. The dramatic expansion of the known world also served to stimulate the study of mathematics, for wealth and fame awaited those who could turn navigation into uh, a real and trustworthy science. You see the word science is being played within your face there.
Hey,
Knowledge.
wh- what's even funnier said is while y'all reading this, I'm sitting here looking at this article, this paper. It's not an article, it's a paper on the
Don't
savages, right?
no,
And
don't
it's
change it. No,
mentioned.
no, 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 no,
I'm
no,
not, I'm
no.
not, I'm not, I'm not.
You
Trust me,
is,
I'm
yo.
not.
You
I'm
is. He
not.
just was
It
reading
meant no,
something, yo.
I'm not. Trust me, it mentions exactly what he just said about the Ptolemy thinking that there was only three continents. That's all I was gonna say. And this is in the 12th and 13th century that they're talking about, 14th century, 15th century that they're talking about. That
Why
these
not?
people
Why
were
not?
still thinking that there was only three continents.
Hey, bro. But bro, listen, you did interrupt the source. Why not let us finish that, then introduce, because now we've introduced two sources, but we have to talk about the one source first. We can't read the one source, then dive in with another source. It's crazy. It's not. That's not how you do that. Come on, bro.
So
Let's read your
remember,
source next. Let's finish that source, and then let's introduce your source. Find that area what you're talking about. Go ahead.
so now
Dang,
you
then you,
see, okay. Yeah, you see with the article right here in front of you, Tangul, the point I've been making, the point Unk's been making, right? It brings us back to the authority and the loss of the authority, right? Again, the sailor coming back from the New World was laughing at St. Augustine, like laughing at him. The great St. Augustine was being mocked by an average sailor. He don't know what the hell he's talking about. Antipodes. Ha, 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 ha. We just came back. You know, your ignorance is profound.
yeah,
Imagine the turmoil. Imagine that position of authority. I want to set the stage so y'all see that this is not a casual flow of more information. And, oh, we know more. Oh, let's just adjust the maps. Your whole paradigm is falling apart.
do me a favor, because Sabio killed my whole fucking point on that source right there. Go back to the source. Go back to the part when they start talking about navigational equipment and shit. Can you go back to that, please? Sabio, you killed me there, bro. You gotta let us finish the one
Yes,
source,
sir.
yo. Come on, bro. Trying to make a point here, yo.
So let me read this again. The first serious blow to the traditional acceptance of authorities was the discovery of the New World at the end of the 15th century.
Yeah.
Ptolemy, the great astronomer and geographer, had insisted that only three continents of Europe, Africa, and Asia could exist, and Christian scholars from Augustine on had accepted it, for otherwise men would have walked upside down at the antipodes. But
Mhm.
Ptolemy, St. Augustine, and a host of other authorities were simply wrong. The dramatic expansion of how the known world also served to stimulate the study of mathematics. For wealth and fame awaited those who could navigate into a real and trustworthy science, who could turn navigation into a real and trustworthy science.
Okay, so let's talk about the business now. We're talking about slavery. We're talking about they navigating the globe and they transporting cargo, products and goods around the world. And this will stimulate the quote unquote world economy. It built up a surplus of money. So not only did it break down the authority, it gave them a surplus of money to invest and it gave them a reason. You said it earlier, it gave them a reason to have to even invest that type of bread into certain enterprises. That's important. Never forget slavery, colonialism, scientific revolution, and the formulation of science. It took them pieces right there, yo. That extra money, surplus, the need to have to do something for the extra money. Money talk and bullshit walk. Go ahead, Savio, bring in your source and talk and to add on. So now we got two solid sources. Go ahead, brother.
All
All
right.
right, Xavier, you got the floor.
So this source is savages, wild men, and monstrous races. Um, in the opening paragraph, it's talking about the modern conception of race, and it said it is thought to have developed during the 18th and 19th centuries. Um, in the second paragraph, it says, of course, philosophers generally acknowledge, if only in passing, that the Zate model construction has its roots in various medieval traditions, among which are typically mentioned the medieval versions of the Noachic legend, according to which the peoples of the earth can be divided into three broad groups: African, Asian, and European, each descended from one of the sons of Noah. So, as that source just said, had they not navigated the globe and started going into these other places and seeing, like Columbus touching those islands and the people before him touching other places, there would be, like Seth was saying, St.
What?
Augustine
Read
and
that
Ptolemy
again.
was being laughed at.
Read that again. Hold on. Say that. I didn't catch. Did you catch that, Cedric? Did I miss? Am I tripping? Read it again.
It is illustrating the same thought process right? That even within the Christian doctrine, right, it was assumed that there were only three continents. It's talking
Okay.
about the upheaval that happened from a different perspective, right? We have not taken the biblical angle or the religious institution, but don't forget, in my whole bill, you keep saying
No,
the
I got.
religious tradition, right? They are paramount in this conversation as well.
Yeah.
So eventually, we're going to look at what the church was actually doing because of losing the power, inquisitions, and all of these things are direct result
Hmm.
of these paradigm shifts, right? It is all interconnected. So
Yeah.
we have a lot of exploring to do over the coming week.
No, no, I wanted to hear it again. I want to hear that again. I want to hear that part. I wanted to hear it again because I
Go
didn't hear
again,
none of that what
Sabio.
y'all said. Yeah, Savvy, I ain't hear
It
none
Go
of
says,
that.
again, Sabio.
I'm tripping. Go ahead,
it
hit it
says,
again, yo.
it, it says,
Uh-huh.
of course, philosophers generally acknowledge, if only in passing, that this late modern construction has its roots in various medieval traditions, among which are typically mentioned the medieval versions of the Noachic legend, according to which the peoples of the earth can be divided into three broad groups: African, Asian, and European, each descended from one of the sons of Noah. So the paradigm shift
Oh yeah, I don't
is
get that. Yeah, y'all got me. Y'all better than me on that. I don't know how the hell y'all see that.
so
Y'all got me.
so
It
so it
ain't for
goes
me.
back to so it goes
I'm
back to
missing something.
when so remember Ptolemy and Aristotle and Augustine and all those thought there was only three continents.
So you got that from that?
It's just
Shit.
it's the same thing. Why? Because it's
I
only three
don't
continents
know.
that
No,
they're
you bet.
talking
Yo,
about.
you better than me, bro. I ain't get that from that. If I was just a person reading that, I wouldn't put that with the discovery of America. But you're right. They just meant. I'm just. You just look. I ain't put that together like that. That don't
Because
mean that y'all don't.
the
Yeah,
next thing he talks
it
about
says
is
the
the
three
discovery
people
of
of the
America.
earth.
Go
No,
ahead,
it's saying
Sosa.
the
Go ahead,
three
Sosa.
people. No, I'm saying it's saying the three peoples of the earth.
Got you.
So if they're saying it's only the three peoples of the earth, that shows no
Right.
concept of any other continent because it's only
Got you.
working with those three peoples because the three
I see.
continents.
I see that part. I see that part. But I thought he was going to show how that changed something. I see that.
Oh,
But if I was a Bible reader, I was like, okay, that's the Bible, right?
Yeah, it was indicative of that state of mind, right?
You just saying
It
it.
was
So
solid.
okay,
Yeah,
okay, I got
Yeah,
you. So
right.
we just addressing
that was the world
that
to
state. Of,
them.
I got you. Okay, all right, I got you.
right.
I got you. I got
That's
you.
like the
I
same
wouldn't use it
argument
for
you
that.
used to make.
Yep, I got you.
That
No,
was the
yeah, I
whole
would.
world.
Hey,
Yeah.
right. You know what, yo? I would use that when we say, yo, the Bible world was only such, 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 and then show that source for that. I don't know if I would show it for the transferring of authority, bro. I don't know. I wouldn't. Not me.
So
But okay, I'm
so
voted off
if
the island on that. No problem.
No, it
so
wasn't
it
the
led
transfer of
so it
authority,
helped
it was the
lead.
state of mind at the time that was
I just
illustrated there.
disagree. I'm saying I disagree with the use of the source that way. I could be wrong, but I'm gonna stand pat on that. I'm right there. I'm staying right
All
there.
right.
But I'm gonna use that source when I say the Bible. They only understood it be three continents, though. I'm gonna use it for that. But go ahead, move on. My fault. I don't want to bother the showdown. I'm on. No fight. Go ahead.
Sosa, you got the floor? King Sosa, ladies and gentlemen.
No, I'm pulling up like 15, 20 minutes in. So shit, I was knocked out.
Oh.
Come on now.
Uh,
We're in the authority section right now. We read the authority. But go ahead.
yeah, the loss of authority, the discovery of the New World, the loss of
Right.
authority, which created that epistemic rupture. This lecture was framing the key figures that play a role in the development of of methodological naturalism, which is the principle on which modern science is built, right? The reason I'm tackling this subject is that linearity idea that still exists within the community, right? And now that we are moving away from the tools and we are getting into the philosophical framework that was required, and we are examining the turmoil that existed in this period, right? Where the authority is losing its grip based on the discoveries that were made in the New World, technological advancement that was happening, the telescope and the microscope, All right. We're painting the picture of the environment of turmoil that is going to exist for the next 200 years as we move along in this series. That's where we're at.
Yeah, I think that's great to kind of show the different people and their mindset. You know what I'm saying? Like I think we talked about this yesterday on the Galaxy and Beyond show, and how, yeah, you may
Yes.
name this person a scientist, but they fit in the realm of natural philosophy, and this is why. And we gave the example of Galileo, right? And what's the other guy name? Damn it. Anthony talked not
What? Kepler?
Copernicus,
Kepler?
Kepler, right? And they talked about
Kepler.
how, yeah,
Kepler.
Kepler, right? Yeah, we kind of talked about how Kepler, even though he was kind of doubting the astrology, he still snuck it in there, right? And I
Yep.
say, well, right? So he's a big shot, right? I say, so imagine Neil deGrasse Tyson, making birth charts for his kids. It wouldn't happen because he's a physicist for real and he's a scientist. He just wouldn't have did that way.
Yep. Yep.
Because we understand the phenomenon. You get it?
Exactly. So now, since the conversation has been so convoluted about the tools, right? It is important that we talk about scientific thinking and the development thereof. This is series is circling right back to Ank's initial presentation, the development of scientific thinking, the scientific thought, right? So these are the pillars of establishment, what later becomes known as methodological naturalism. These are the individuals that are establishing the framework under which this new system of empiricism, right, new system of collecting data and understanding the natural world, right, becomes is produced, right. And this is also not a one-shot thing. So we see Kevin Bacon, oh boy, we see Francis Bacon, and we jump thunder. Okay, so methodological naturalism is established. Boom. No, it is developed. You have a starting point, but we have to acknowledge that these things are developed over time. So you got the floor.
So, sir, let me ask you one question.
I got to catch us.
Would
Go ahead. Go
if you
ahead.
looked at
Dude.
if
All right.
if you looked at all their if you looked at a lot of their resumes, would you see natural philosopher?
They are all philosophers, and this is what makes the conversation, right? This is how you catch them, right? They are arguing Newton, philosopher, natural philosopher or not. And now, who is going to argue whether Descartes is a philosopher? Yet, Descartes' work in the unification of geometry and algebra, right, is paramount in the development of what later becomes a basis for science, right? That mathematical underpinning. Yet, no one has been calling these individuals scientists. Yet, these are the pillars of what becomes science. Methodological naturalism is formulated by these philosophers. Who was going to call David Hume a scientist? Yet he is paramount in establishing the scientific method. So again, we're seeing how they're straw manning the conversation and creating narratives that are irrelevant to the actual debate. That's what
I
we're
would
seeing.
say, yeah. Because if you look at Galileo Galilei, right? He actually was a master mathematician, and he taught at college. He taught, he taught math, right? But he was he more to write about philosophy. He didn't write about
In the
math.
matrix.
Oh man, I'm in the
Repeat
matrix
that.
now.
Repeat that.
I'm in,
You
I said
broke up.
Galileo of Galilei, right? He was a master mathematician, and he taught math at the college. I forget the name of the college, right? But he didn't write about math per se. He was more leaning towards wanting to write. He wrote about philosophy. Look at his work. Yeah, so he was known in his time as a natural philosopher, bro. In his time, as he walked through the streets, the great natural philosopher. He wasn't known as the great scientist. That's not how they looked at it. So it's
Nope.
important to give him proper historical labeling. Now, if you so choose, right, to retrofit the term, then I've always been comfortable with that. But when you're in the land of the pseudos, yo, you got to be precise.
Yeah, it is important that we be academically accurate. Why? Because they're always going to use those words, right, and play with them. So it is important that we remain academically sound, right, and deal with the subject within its right context, right. And was clear, Cedric. Sometimes that's on your side. I appreciate it. I don't follow right, but that's okay. We can talk about it in the back, Juju. It's always your post production conversation. It's good. Lex, I'm gonna give you the floor, Lex.
Oh man.
Lex, the conversation is the philosophers and the philosophical framework which established methodological naturalism. We are walking through the pillars that produce and ultimately form the constraints of what modern science operates under. And these were the individuals we are talking about today. So, Lex, you got the floor.
Yeah, man. Peace to y'all. I'm just listening and learning right now, and eventually I'm gonna bring y'all to the light, man. I love y'all, bro. I'm gonna bring y'all to the light, but for now I'm just listening.
All right, well, take your ass in the chat and listen, and we don't love you. Keep it going.
Damn.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't love your information as a human being, yo. You know what I'm saying? I actually think you're a piece of shit as a human being, but you know, it's all good.
Disinformation expert. You are disinformation and a You
Nah,
are
we ain't gonna
disinformation.
play it that way. No, sir. This man called me the devil all the time. I just got him first. It's all good though, Lex. I just wanted to shoot you
I'm the
first. That's all,
devil
bro.
to him too.
I just wanted to shoot you
I've
first,
been the
Lex.
devil to him from the first time he met me. I've been the devil, and I'm gonna stay that.
Hey, Lex, I just wanted to shoot you first, bro. That's all, because you didn't even shoot me up.
Hey, it's all good, man. I forgive
All
you.
right, no problem. Appreciate the forgiveness, brother. Forgive me. Please tell the omnipresent spirit to ask for forgiveness, yo. Thank you, bro.
You got it. You
I
got it.
appreciate you being here, Lex.
Can I?
And
But I
go
do
ahead.
have a
You have the
one
floor.
question according to the topic, and I'm not trying to be funny or anything. I need
Go
clarity,
ahead.
really. It might sound like a stupid question, but I am a little slow.
Of
What
course.
is
That's a
you
fact.
mentioned? Yeah, that is a fact. I'm not too egotistic to admit that I'm a little slow. You know, I may be able to program, take a computer apart, put it back together. I may be able to go into a Fortune 500 company and do data migration and do all their servers and shit, but I'm still a little slow. But I heard he said um, Neil deGrasse Tyson was a physicist and he's a scientist. I'm not trying to be funny. Is a doctor a scientist? Because I'm just trying to, like,
No,
what
a
is a
doctor is a
scientist?
doctor.
A
Okay,
doctor
so
can be a scientist, but
I'm
being a
asking,
doctor doesn't inherently make you a scientist. You can
so
be a
what
doctor
is
and
a
a scientist.
scientist? What
A
realm
person who
of science do you have to be in to be considered a scientist? Like, do you have to be like a physicist, or is a person that like a biologist, is that a scientist?
yes.
Yes.
But a doctor who takes biology, who has to take, is not a scientist?
No, because
No.
they're not specializing in biology. Wow. Is it
So
that
what is a
complex?
doctor specialize? What is a doctor specializing in?
Whatever, heart surgery, brain surgery,
Healthcare, shit like
neuroscience.
that.
This depends on what particular aspect of the human body they want to specialize in. They got
Like a doctor
ophthalmologists,
gonna be
they
able to
got
look at blood
podiatrists.
work and shit like that.
Maybe,
He's
hey,
not doing
maybe
work in a
Art
lab.
can explain it better,
Jesus
because
Christ.
The
Sabio's
doctor's
doing
not
a
doing
terrible
research.
job.
You know what I'm saying?
Huh?
Like, you got to understand the doctor ain't a scientist, bro. Like, come on, bro. You can be a scientist and a
I'm
doctor.
Yo,
I
Come
can
on.
hey,
I can
didn't I say I
explain.
was a little slow, bro?
Yeah, I can
I'm
You're
trying
explain.
to.
slow, man.
I don't
I thought
understand
I
how
did
y'all
a very
understand, bro.
I thought I did a great job.
I can explain. I can explain. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me?
Hold
I
on, let
thought
me
I
let
thought
me make
Sabian
it.
did a great job. Can you hear me? Hold on. I
Okay.
got you. Since you is slow, just because you can program computers don't mean you can understand this information. The two does not correlate.
Exactly, bro.
So
Will
a
y'all
doctor
stop
is a
attacking me?
So a doctor is a specialist, right? He's a specialist in what? You can be a neurosurgeon, but you can also be a neuroscientist. A neuroscientist actually gets in the lab and do experimentation to replicate it, right? They operate at the frontier, whereas though a neurosurgeon will take that information, right, and use it. That's the difference. Heart surgeon, same thing. I'm a heart surgeon. I deal with hearts, but I'm not a scientist.
You can just be caring for patients, give you patient care. You don't got to be doing new research, producing new research in the lab. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not. You could be, but, so yeah.
So the answer was given to you in multiple ways, Alex. But what a doctor is, although very highly efficient, he is a mechanic of a biological agent. How that biological agent operates is studied at the level of the scientist. At the level of doctor, he learns to repair, to repair and fix the machine. Doesn't necessarily mean he knows the operating system or the full design. That's not his job, right? But yes, you can have a doctor that engages in science, so he's on the frontier of his profession. So he's being very scientific in developing new techniques in applied science, right? He's not discovering new pathogens or pathways or developing new neural connections. That's done at the end of scientists. A highly efficient surgeon now can apply that new nuanced information to his practical application. He may develop new tools, right? Very scientific. But these are all developments on the level of technology, the level of applied science. If he writes papers, he produces a peer-reviewed work because other surgeons are going to use this technique as well. But that is not equal to a scientist. Scientists operate on the frontiers of our knowledge in the unknown aspect.
So
Ramon Bear asks, is a foot doctor scientist, Lex?
So, okay, pandemic. Let's bring up the pandemic. This is what we learned. We learned that just because you're a nurse don't mean you understand anything about immunology and virology. We learned that firsthand. Second point, we had certain doctors that will come out against the vaccine and the COVID thing. Why was that? Because they're not scientists, right? The immunologist is a specialist in immunization, right? The virologist, he's a specialist in viruses, right? They're the scientists. They do the work in the labs. They test viruses. That is the difference. And in our brain and our mind, we say, "Oh my goodness, man, that nurse don't want that vaccine." Oh, and we cheer that in our mind. That doctor said this, but the doctor is not a scientist. He's not an immunologist. He is not expected to know that. That's just his opinion. I'll end with that.
Right. And in this conversation, it takes me to like conversations and things that I've had with elders that I know, people who go to the doctor and they get this opinion, but then they go to a specialist and they hear something different. Who's right? Was it the initial doctor that told them that this was the ailment, or was it the specialist?
So a scientist has specialization. That's the difference.
No.
Scientists does actual the frontier, bringing about new information and knowledge. So he's doing clinical studies, he's doing lab work, he's doing research papers, things of that nature.
He missed it.
Gala, come off the mic. You got the floor.
I'm
yeah, that's why they call Newton a scientist, because he was at the frontier of his work, though. You see that? So they kind of like.
She just prescribe medicine and come on, like you can't call.
But you have doctors that do lab work and do stuff like that too. So it's doctors.
You can be a doctor and a scientist, but being a doctor doesn't inherently make you a scientist. That's all.
Make you a scientist. That's the point.
Okay, got you.
Gala.
So don't run around
you got the floor.
no more, yo. Since you understand it, I don't expect you to mess that up no more.
You say depending on what the lab is too, because you could be a you could work in the lab just be a lab tech.
Correct.
You can be a what?
A lab tech,
So you
somebody
can work
that does the work for the scientist.
in the lab, be a lab tech. It depends on what you do in the lab.
No.
Yeah, but the dude that's putting a thermometer in
I
your
wasn't
mouth.
saying doctors are just in the lab.
Most scientists are writing hypotheses, developing the experimental procedures, building in their falsifiability. Once that is done, they bring it over to the lab. Lab as a chef de clinique, we put a team together and we set up how we are going to execute these experiments. That is in the technical aspect. Most scientists don't wear lab coats. But they most of them do not actually engage in qualitative analysis or engaging in slicing up a piece of colon to make slides. That's technique. That's the text work. That's
Said,
what
can you give me a source
people
on that?
like.
Like on what a
No.
scientist is
I'm
and
the
what the
source. I'm the
He
source.
working a lab. He working a lab.
I'm actually telling you what the tech does versus what the scientist does. Right?
No, I
And
understand that. I'm saying, can you
And
give me a source on what a
it depends on the field of study, right? For example, an archaeologist, he's much more hands-on, hand in the dirt, etc. So it all depends on the field of study, what the scientists actually do. A geneticist, he sits behind a computer and studies data and studies these computer models and extracting statistics. It all depends on the field of study. But a scientist is someone that is on the frontier of knowledge. They are operating in the unknown. From the moment it becomes part of our body of collective knowledge, it is no longer the realm of the scientist. That becomes applied scientist, that becomes technology. You're operating on that realm. We don't see the scientists, they are operating in the unknown.
Let's put the source in the back chat. Let's read it. The source is doctors are not scientists. It's on PMC NCBI.
Another point.
I'll read
it. You finished, Sophie?
Does your source say what a scientist is, Sosa?
Hold on for a minute.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Lex, let me make this point to you, and I'm sure you're familiar with the NFL. You have coaches. So some coaches are coached like corporate, right? They like the leader of a corporation, right? They delegate work. They delegate different coaches do certain things, right? Meaning they take the lab, they take the lab techs, right? Or the PhD students that's going for their PhD, and they do the work in the lab for them. They put together the hypothesis and all that, and they direct the lab. Some scientists like to be in there, right, all the time, hands-on. But some scientists like to wait till the important day, well, the day we're going to try this, and he'll be in there to direct an experiment, bro. I just wanted to add that piece in there. Yo. We gotta get out the Stone Age on that. I'm done.
Flash, welcome to the program. Welcome to Set Talk. First time on the panel. Welcome, my brother. You have the floor. Speak your speak.
I think Unc is all the way wrong because doctors can be doctors. They do both sometimes. They can be physician, scientists, which means they do lab work and they do patient work. So I don't know. It's kind of like y'all don't read enough or something. I know y'all get up.
So the statement
no one denied that though.
The statement was all doctors aren't inherently a scientist, but a doctor can be a scientist.
Yeah,
are they?
That was the statement made, right? Clearly indicate that a doctor can be a scientist, but a doctor isn't inherently a scientist. All dogs are animals, but not all animals are dogs. So that was clearly stated.
Y'all missing the elephant in the room. Y'all missing the elephant in the room. This man came up here and said, Unc is wrong. He said, Unc was wrong. He didn't listen to nothing Sosa said. Sosa specifically said you could be both. We always say that, right? He say Unc, so he don't give a damn about nothing y'all say. He just want to say Unc is wrong. I rest my case.
Why you doing Unc like that, Flash? I don't know, bro. And
we all said it. We all said it. That's what's crazy. We all
So I
fail.
just read that a software developer is considered a scientist.
So Lex,
I saw.
I'm gonna give you the floor. Don't ever just take it, please. You see how I'm running my
Oh, okay,
program? Please work with me. So
got you.
now,
I humbly
so
apologize,
Flash,
my brother.
do you acknowledge the fundamental error in your whole statement? You are actually strawmanning not only Ank's position but the entire panel. And how do you come on set talks and attack Ankh? You got the floor, brother.
Hey, I apologize for that. Hold on. Hey,
I
I
appreciate
apologize
it.
for that.
All right.
All right,
Miscommunication. That's how
no
we do this.
problem.
I appreciate that, my brother.
No
All right,
problem.
Lex.
I don't accept it. Just don't do it.
Lex, you got the floor. You were saying? Lex, you got the floor. You were saying?
No, I'm just reading. I think I was just looking at something. I think there might be a little confusion, but no, I'm good, man. Because I'm reading here. It's like it talks about like key research and stuff, but then it says like it talks about like applied science, and some people do. It's not because it even says this is just Google that a software engineer can be considered a scientist, right? That's what it said. So I'm good, man.
I can let me read. Let me go with. I don't know if you want. I can share
It's
the
a
screen
term,
and show it, or I can just read it. I think it makes. I'll just share it. Seth. Let me. Can you share it, Seth? I'm sharing my screen.
Well, so are you saying there's a clear, like there's no gray area? There's a clear definition of what is science, or is there like a little bit of gray area?
No, ain't not gonna gray area. They gotta be doing what a scientist does. So can you see it?
Like Ben Carson,
Look.
yo.
So it says
Like
some
Ben
doctors. Look, some doctors are scientists, just as some politicians are scientists, but most are not. As medical students, they were filled with information on biochemistry, anatomy, physiology, and other sciences. But information does not a scientist make. Otherwise, you become a scientist by watching the Discovery Channel. So a scientist is somebody who constantly questions, generates falsifiable hypotheses, and collects data from well-designed experience. The kind of people who brush their teeth only on the side of their mouth to see whether brushing your teeth has any benefit. So most doctors follow familiar patterns and rules, often improvising around those rules. And their methods of working, they are more like jazz musicians than scientists. So
What you reading from, bro?
that's PubMed.
PubMed.
National Library of Medicine.
Oh, okay.
So on with that information, would you consider or even have the dialogue with regards to the philosophers being scientists? Do you see how conflated that conversation becomes when even in our modern context, you can separate someone that's doing a highly proficient job like a surgeon and still not be considered a scientist? So when we're having this philosophical conversation, framing how we think and how we are going to engage with the world, it is convoluted to be calling these people scientists when they're at the foundational stage of what later becomes science. Right? They are in that epistemic rupture when they're developing the new framework. The word scientist doesn't appear much later. And even within that framework, they are still clearly natural philosophers thinking about how this new process science is going to look. So calling them scientists is retroactive, historical retroactive fitting, and stretch at the best. So that's why in all the literature, they are known as philosophers, natural philosophers. You get that, Lex?
I'm just saying, like when you're talking about history,
Yeah, I got you.
It's the history of science. So, I thought it was important. You want to be historically accurate when telling a story, giving a historical narrative. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It wouldn't make sense no other way.
So I found it interesting.
Hey, Cedric.
Go ahead.
one day, man, I want to have a conversation with you about microbes, man. I'm just saying in the future, because I've been doing, man, I've been going into some deep reading, and there, it's kind of blowing my mind. I need some answers as to how they're so complex, and so we can have that conversation one day. But you know what I'm saying? I just like these things are highly complex. You know what I mean? Like the things that they're doing in the body is just like, the deeper I get. So one day, man, hopefully we can have that conversation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, life is stranger than fictions, and biology operates on complex chemistry,
Pretty
and
complex.
that is an indicative of nature building on previous processes, right? The complexity that you see in the replication of a simple protein that they use 5 and 6 extra codons. There are steps that are completely inefficient in the production of a protein, making it way too complicated, which is indicative of nature simply building on what is there and not consistently redesigning or redeveloping. Another fact is simplicity is in design. The
Yep.
complexity of nature is indicative of it not having had a designer, and that it is a process of accumulation because based on its survivability in the environment or its ability to replicate itself. Right. So
You
that
know
is the
what?
that is the paramount difference right there
I want
between
to
Hey,
recommend
so
a
let me
source
tell you
for
how
you.
I.
Can I recommend a source for you? You may not like it, but The Selfish Gene by Richard Dawkins is a great source. It's a
I read
great
that book,
source.
man. Like
Oh,
10 years ago. I also read his other book. What's it called? It's something that
so why are
about
you still
gambling. Like,
confused? Why are you
so
still
you so
confused?
you just so you
brother, yeah, I'm
acknowledge that
asking said,
complexity. That
hey,
complexity
Sabio,
Lex, you acknowledge
hey,
that complexity is a lack of design, right? Because it is overly
no,
complicated. If you look at the laryngeal nerve, for example, the path that it takes
Y'all done start
shows
driving too fast.
inefficiency, and that is not
He
the
sucked
hallmark
y'all
of
into the
On
conversation,
intelligent
man.
design right now.
There we
Yeah, he
go.
sucked you
no,
into it,
I'm
y'all.
not.
Let him suck you.
I
No,
was just
no,
gonna
really,
finish.
Into it.
I
Don't
really
worry. I
wanted
was
to,
just gonna finish.
Cedric.
No,
I
no,
really,
no. You sucking us
You know
into
hey,
what?
it. We
Y'all
ain't
Cedric,
should
talking
set
about
up
that.
that
I
show.
really wanted to get your info. I really want to get your knowledge, bro. I wasn't trying to go into an
No, you
intelligent design.
scamming. You
The way I
scamming.
came to
No,
this,
nah. Just set
Scamming.
up a show.
bro,
Set up a
I'm
show.
not making a claim, bro. Let
No,
me
I'm
tell.
saying
Let
Scamming.
me
set up
just
a
talk to
show.
Cedric
Lex,
one.
Lex, the
No, you
point is
scamming.
the subject. It's not germane to the subject matter. I entertain it for a second, but I was going to
Yeah, that's why I said
reiterate.
another time. But said, I just
Yes,
Y'all
want to
want
say
to? I'm
something to
saying
you.
y'all want to set up
The
a
reason
show.
I,
Set up
the
a
reason
show.
I brought.
We can set up a show and talk about it,
All right, man.
Lex.
Never
I
go
don't
ahead,
have a
man.
problem
You
for
good?
you.
No,
Since you
I'm
came
saying,
on to
Lex, do you want to
apologize.
set up a show? Do you want to? Do you want to do a show? We can set up a show. We'll actually deal just with
All
that.
right, man. Y'all can. I'm sorry,
we
man.
got
Go
we can
move
we
on. I
got
don't
No,
want
I'm
to hold the
asking
show
you.
up, bro.
No, I'm
there's
asking you, bro.
yeah, we got a
Do you
Saturday
want to
night
set up a
prime time
time that we
spot.
could
You
do a
can come
show?
and get it in and do your
Oh
building, and
yeah,
then we
yeah, I'm
can.
with it, but it wasn't what I was trying to say, y'all. I know I'm used to attacking. I'm not on attack mode. Please put your defenses down for a second. The
No,
reason
sir.
why I asked that
No,
question,
sir. I'm not dropping
the
my
reason
gun.
why
No, sir. I got the gun in your head, but go ahead, sir.
you smart. I was developing a cavity,
Me too. I keep
and in
mine
my
right
mind,
there.
what?
Go
I'm
ahead,
sorry,
Lex. Go ahead, Lex. There's a
Cedric.
final comment
You
around
might
this subject.
understand this. I know they won't. I was developing a cavity, right? And in my mind, I'm thinking I should just be able to like put some peroxide on it and kill the germs, and the cavity should go away. That's what I was thinking in my mind. Like, why? Like,
What?
and then I was looking to. I didn't know that if you have cavities, you're basically diseased, right? And so, and then I said, well, why can't you stop cavities? And then I started looking into it, and then I found out something called biofilm, right? That
Yeah.
these organisms they actually create like this almost military stronghold barrier, right? This is why medicines can't really get to some microbes because they live within this biofilm,
Mm-hmm.
and that biofilm is like created and like it's not like no normal stuff. So I don't know. It just was intriguing to me on how these organisms are able to. But like I said, man,
So what you're
let's
gonna
set
do,
up a
Lex?
show because I know this ain't the show for it.
You're gonna flesh it out. You're gonna prepare your presentation, and you're gonna have you state your hypothesis or your position, what you're gonna demonstrate. You'll do a presentation, and we'll get to critique it and see where the flaws are and or not. We create an environment here where you get to actually present your information, and we'll assess it based on the paradigms of and the parameters of methodological naturalism. So you're always welcome, Alex. I gave you that opportunity, so you know that you're always welcome. But again, we're going to segue
Appreciate
back
it, man.
to the conversation, which is the philosophical framework in which methodological naturalism was developed. So now we are not a checkmate moment, right? So now you cannot have the conversation no more about tools, about whether they did an observation or not. That has always been irrelevant to this conversation, mind you. What we were talking about is how you interact with that data. American Dream was under the assumption that a paradigm shift means the data gets thrown away. The data gets re-examined under new paradigm and where necessary discarded. You read there in the article. Now we need to get out there. There is no way that's what in the book could substitute for what we can actually observe and touch and feel. That's Francis Bacon. Tomorrow we're going to get into Descartes, who's putting some more limitations on this. This is all about constraints and developing a framework in which we operate, which is called methodological naturalism. Tomorrow we're going to go into Descartes. Descartes is the ultimate skeptic. He questioned his own mathematical formulas. He questioned reality itself, and he stripped everything away to the point he could not question his own existence. That is a paramount position of skepticism to have. Trust nothing. Evaluate everything. Test, retest before you conclude. And even then, don't trust your conclusion. This is putting that self-correcting mechanism in the machine. That's what's happening there. So tomorrow we're going to examine that philosophical approach and expand on the conversation. So now let's see if the conversation is going to continue to digress in the rest of the community as to whether Newton is a scientist or not, and that level of rhetoric that is not germane nor productive to the conversation. We are in the realm now of the philosophical minds that establish the parameters of what methodological naturalism is. Okay, Lex, you got anything to say in closing?
Nah, man, I look forward to the conversation about methodological naturalism. In turn, like yesterday when I joined the panel, I thought it was interesting. So what I did was I had AI um, run a analysis of the show y'all did the other day, and it's very interesting. I don't know if you might want to hear it. It's on my page, but it it said some interesting things about your claims. Said
What claims?
I'm sure it did.
What claims?
I'm sure it did.
I don't know what
And you read it the
him,
new
of
AI?
What page? I don't know what page you're talking about. Like, I don't. On Facebook?
no, I mean I don't really have a page. My page, FBA Lex Vortex. If you go on there, you'll see an AI analysis of it's about a 5-minute analysis from AI. No, it's a 3-minute analysis about the conversation we had. And the AI said that y'all was using fallacious arguments.
And what did it say about your part you
Of
played in? What
course
did it
it
say
did.
about
You know
you?
what?
What did it say about you?
I just asked, like I said, y'all can pull it up,
No,
or I
no,
can
no,
give you
no,
the
no,
link
no,
to it.
no, 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 no. I asked a direct question. A direct question. What did the AI say about what you were saying? This is how I will make a fair assessment on your damn AI. What did it say about what you said about the dreams and all that? Go ahead, Lex. Go ahead, sir.
Oh, what it said was that when I brought up the dreams, that you guys were emotionally dismissive, and you used a tactic. I forgot what it used. I think it said it said something about fallacious etymological framework, because when I brought up James Watson and I brought up the other guy about who discovered the periodic table through dreams, AI said you would have had a point if it was linear. But it said after the dude, he said, but since those dreams brought information that scientists didn't have, that your argument was emotional, dismissive, and fallacious. Because when the guy that dreamed about the elemental chart, he wrote it down the next day.
What?
Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit! The pseudo.
But if you want to play it, I mean, you should play it, bro. It's interesting, and you can, because it's not me. It was just, I just said
What?
analyze this conversation.
It said you did what? What did it say about what you said, Lex?
Let's play the conversation. Hold on, let me give you the link,
bro.
Yeah, you know
you don't want to hear it for yourself.
It basically said that he was right. His dreams were right.
No,
His dreams were real.
Stop
the cab, yo. Stop the cab, yo.
It seems like y'all are being dismissive again. Like anyone else would be like, well, let's hear it.
Stop. Anybody else is stupid. I'm saying, what's the source you use? That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about right now, Lex.
Yeah, you're supposed to protect
it's all good. I just brought it up. We ain't got. I'm not harping on it. I mean, if y'all don't want to hear it.
You know what I'm saying? Sometimes your AI reflects you. You said it ain't me, but sometimes your AI can reflect you in the questions you do ask.
Yeah, I know that. I know all about AI, how they're grown and everything. But so I know how to ask AI questions. But
no, you don't.
All I did. Yes, I do. And I know how to ask AI. I know how AI runs. So I know how to. I know the guardrail. I know how it learns from. What's Cap about that?
I appreciate your analysis.
Yo, I feel like if somebody was gonna offer me a free ice cream cone, Unc would smack it out of my hand. He don't want me to have. I think that nigga would just want me to die. Anything I like, damn, Unc, you really hate me, don't you, bro?
If you was in the desert and I only had the water, I just pour it out in the middle of the desert. Yeah, of course I am. You're right. I'm gonna smack the ice cream out your hand. Of course I am, Lex. You know why, Lex? You know why, Lex?
How can I? Is there anything I can do off to help you know that?
Let me finish, Lex. Let me finish.
Of course, your
you know
AI said we treated you that.
Lex, you know why I would do that? Because every damn chance you get, you do that to me. I just be on some get back, bro. So I'm getting back. Don't hate me. Hate the game. The game made me. Y'all made me like this, bro.
Hurt people.
Yeah, hurt people.
Yeah, but I don't. Yeah, but Unc, I wouldn't want. I don't want to hurt you though. Like that. I don't want you to starve and shit, bro.
You sure?
This information.
Because usually,
Are you sure?
we get into it. You just get offended for me challenging you, then you go to whole another level.
Bullshit, Lex. You talk about I'm running from you in the debate. I ain't never ran from you. What you talking about, bro? That's cap. You start off with the.
That's that offensive to you? I do feel like you're running. You've been running for 10. That's.
What you feel and what reality is.
All right, Lex, enough of that.
So let's get it in.
Yeah.
Lex,
so let's get it in.
Just because you feel, I seen you run from Cedric in real time. I seen this man waste.
So let's get it in, huh?
No, nigga,
if you're not running,
let me.
All right, okay.
Let me tell you the truth. Nobody trusts you, Lex. Nobody trusts you. Gonna actually show up for a damn debate, bro. We get the people in the stands and all.
Oh, really?
You've done it. You've done that before. That's the point.
No.
You have a bad track record.
That's not. You're running again, huh?
Okay. So
every time you got an excuse.
Cedric, did you not prepare two?
I'm talking to you, not Cedric.
I'm not talking to you right now. Hey, Cedric, did you not prepare?
See? All right, let's move on. I don't want to.
Cedric, did you not prepare 2 presentations for this man?
2 presentations on separate occasions, full half-an-hour debates. So you know the amount of work it is to prepare slides for.
So what happened?
Like a presentation like this.
What? Look at him. Gaslight.
So hold up. Show me the correspondence.
What happened?
Show me the correspondence. Hold on, that's what I'm saying. Like you say all these things, but you
done, bro.
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. You're running, You keep running.
Stop the cat. I just wanted the audience to see why I stay on you, bro. Cat.
Lex died
Cat.
this
See,
episode.
that's what he really want to always get right there. So I just got on there
Yeah,
quicker. That's what he really
yeah.
want to do. When he on the platform, when he ain't got no control, where he's allowed to do that, yo, verbatim, he says the exact same thing. This ain't sound out of
Yep.
motherfucking studios, nigga. You cannot play that game and then start in the diving room. Yeah, no, this ain't it, bro. We not trying to hit a cap. You capping. You straight cap. Not listen to
Yep.
that. Complete foolery. Nonsense. Hornswoggle. Bamboozlement. Come on, bro.
And I think it was another great show, right? And we are here now. The conversation definitely has to move and shift in the community. The rhetoric about Newton being a scientist and all of this nonsense, that we don't need to go down that rabbit hole. We are going to sit here because the conversation is about thinking. Science is a way of thinking. Far too often they are in the weeds talking about tools, talking about measurements, and they forget the philosophical framework that is required. We have moved the conversation in the community, the lexicon is changing, and we're just going to keep our foot on the neck and keep pushing this information. And what we're establishing is the right way of thinking. We are seeing the flawed methodology applied by our interlocutors, and it's a beautiful demonstration in how scientific literacy, right, gets you to where you need to get in these type of conversation. Their lack of scientific literacy is being displayed right now. They do not have the depth of understanding to engage in this conversation. You can see here. Yeah, you see here. This I keep dropping the chat for Purple Glitter, but he or she will not hit the link. I think it's a man. You will not hit the link because a lot of your fallacious claims can be addressed in real time. Your perspective is that of a philosophical naturalist, a methodological, a natural philosopher, and not within the realm of methodological naturalism. You're stuck in Egypt, and Egypt were mythological, not mythological philosophers. That means the gods. So their agency lied outside of nature itself. So they are removed completely from the conversation, right? So that emotional stuff you're doing with this Egypt, that doesn't work over here. The Greeks weren't there yet, as we clearly see. These philosophers, Bacon and the rest of them, are within the golden age of Europe. Europe is expanding colonialism. They got all the money, they got all the wealth, right? They're enslaving everybody else. This is why they're in a position to do this. These people have the room and the luxury to sit and think all day based on the paradigm shift that they're experiencing, the new information, the new data collected, right? We are painting the narrative, showing you what that world looked like in those 200 years of chaos, right? And so tune in tomorrow where we continue to bring these natural philosophers who establish the foundation and the structure of what we call methodological naturalism. God Killer, you got the floor.
Yeah, you got me. Unmute me. Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh no, appreciate the show, man. Good work. I think you got had great command over the buttons, and yeah, man, keep it flowing, yo. You did a masterful job in the conversation, the art of the conversation, man. You know what I'm saying? Big up to Sosa. Uh, big up to everybody on the show, man. I appreciate you, man. Appreciate the work. Sabio, appreciate you, bro. And we're just gonna keep getting better at what we do, man. I'm trying to watch that daggone NBA draft. That's what Sosa doing right now.
Yeah, we're gonna get
He's
up out of
probably
here.
he
I got
probably
to
betting on who get who.
King Sosa, you got the floor. Man, I always appreciate when Sosa's here. Listen, the inspiration, the calm, and the trying that I'm doing to do this job is directly the result of years of being around King Sosa and Miss Steve. Thank you for bringing this wild boy into a position that I can manage a platform and not crash out. I appreciate you, Sosa. You got the floor.
Yeah, for sure, man. Peace to everybody, man. Peace to the shout out to the Sulu Killers, of course, man. And man, thank everybody for coming through, man, supporting the channel, man. Like we really appreciate that, man. Said he got a good thing going. Consistency. I think he definitely monocrotic. You talk about that effect. He was like, "Yeah, you're the only one that's consistently do a time slot. Boy, we helped the structure with our time slot. My Lord, does that? But you set the tone and show like if you show up every day at a particular time, people know when you're gonna be there, and they tend to feel the villain because they know they can expect you to be there when they show up, man. So yeah. So shout out to you, man. And yeah, man. Peace.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Gullah, when can we look forward to that epic show, man? I can't wait for the monkey walls, the chip walls, Gullah.
Oh
You
yeah.
got us all in suspense. Slow when you're
Oh yeah.
coming at us.
I'm work on tonight, so you know what I'm saying. I'm off this weekend, so hopefully this weekend it's already. It'll be out the door.
All right. Yeah, look forward to that. That's going to be epic. It is a really dramatic story. I'm looking forward to Gullah's presentation, and his command and passion for the subject is evident. So it's going to be an epic show. Sabio, my good brother, always support me and always got my back. You got the floor, Sabio.
Peace. What up? That's what's up, said. I appreciate the show, appreciate the information, appreciate y'all keeping the 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 conversation directed and in a place where it's easily understandable for those who understand the parameters and how things develop, not in a vacuum, but throughout humans interacting and passing forth the knowledge. And once the rest of the argument catches up, I guess people can catch up and stop making these fallacious claims. And maybe not, but pseudo killers, keep doing what y'all do.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you. God killer, you know I gotta give you the floor before I get out of here. You are
Hey,
the architect, the creator of this environment. I appreciate you so much for allowing me this space to do what I do. And I think together, all of us, we form Voltron, man. And I thank you for the trust and the confidence in allowing me to do this. Like I respect that and I appreciate it. And I'll never stop saying it, bro.
hey, appreciate the love. But let's make a small correction on that, man. It's the great minds that create the space show, and it's the idiots that seek to tear it down. I'll end with that statement right there, man. Black African power.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Kick Doe asked for the link, so I'm gonna hold on for a sec before I take us up out of here. Gullah already spoke. Savior spoke. I'm gonna wait till Kent jumps on. Think he got something to say. Yeah. We need Sosa's world. We need Sosa's world. We were talking about that today. We need Sosa's world. That environment is so beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kick
Well,
Doe got the
what we said, you know what it is, man.
Kick Doe. What it do? What
Yo,
it do? What
yo,
it do?
ain't too much, man. What's going on with you, man? I see y'all in here holding it down, man. What's going on
Yeah.
with the
We
said?
just about time to wrap it up, so
Nah, the
I
show
said I'll
just
wait till you
started,
come on.
man. We got to keep
Ah,
it going, man. 6 hours, yo. Nah, it ain't a show
hell
unless
no,
it's 6 hours, man.
hell no. We professional over here. Be
We gotta beat the
concise.
record. We gotta beat the record, yo.
We got to get the views, man. It's about the view. We got 6 hours, man. 6 hours, man.
Hell no. Our audience we respect our audience time, and we respect the information. And once you put down a master class, it is what it is. The people are going to come watch the show. The support is there. I appreciate everyone. It's about the information and it's not about the views. The views are going to come based on the quality of the product that we put out. It is not about the amount of
Right.
time, it's about the quality of the product.
Yeah, we
And I
don't got to
think
manipulate.
we've all come together and we're producing some.
That's
Hell no.
Yeah, I
bullshit.
think
Hell
Going
no.
along with like Cedric
the
That ain't
came in
necessary.
here.
we manipulate people in order to follow us, and we don't got to down nobody else in order for them to fuck with us. So I like what we got going on. I like the job in keeping this joint pumping. You know what I'm saying? Hey man, just keep on getting it. You know what I'm saying? Keep this
Yes,
thing going.
sir. I appreciate you.
Keep on beating up the pseudos. I see Unc over there doing the thing, community skeptic. Let's go.
Yes, sir.
One monkey don't stop no show.
Nah. That's a fact. And support, go look at the shows on YouTube that you choose to look at, bro.
Nah,
don't watch them.
I'm gonna tell you, don't watch them niggas. I'm gonna tell you, don't watch them niggas. Because you're gonna get misinformed. You're gonna get misinformed and you're gonna get bamboozled. Don't watch them other niggas, man. Watch us. That's what I'm gonna tell you. I'm being nice. I don't know why I want to be nice. I want to be nice for niggas shooting at his head. Nah, don't watch them niggas, man. Watch us.
Hey, you say you say the CEO? Did you got the CEO dancing out in the video?
All in the videos. Talking about he gonna pay the ops. He paying the ops that he didn't like last year and the year before last. Yeah, man. Know when you being bamboozled, man. That's what I'm gonna say.
Nigga, I don't know what y'all.
With that, ladies and gentlemen,
money. Yeah, don't trust a nigga. Don't trust a nigga that buys friendship.
Shut it down.
It's been a great show. Thank you all for coming out. Right, shut it down. Shut it down. Mr. Shut it down. Shut it down. Shut it down. Shut it down.
Hey, Gunner, what you say? All in the video.
Yeah. Shooter killer. We're going under the hood. Past the observation. Into the code. The philosophy of the machine. Let's work. I'm viewing the world through a lens that's purely mechanistic. No room for the magic, it's logic and purely statistic. This thought shoot a blueprint, saw the universe's gear. Stripped the ghost from the machine and replaced the mist with years of observation. Calculation, cold hard dissection. Every movement in the cosmos is a physical connection. Man is a motor, a clockwork, a pole in the vein. Left on a log, I call approach, I'm isolating the brain. It's the car protocol. No absolutes in the sight. Just the lens focused sharp in the middle of the night. Nothing a law got called naturalism. The rule of the game. We don't speak it forever. We just map out the frame. Harmony, induction, probability is king. Science ain't a prophet, it's a thinking thing. Now into David Hume, the skeptic with the wrecking ball, telling you that certainty is headed for a heavy fall. Just cause the sun rose today don't mean it's guaranteed. That's the problem of induction, that's the intellectual seed. So we build on readability, we don't claim the throne. We're just navigating reality with the data we've grown. Science stays humble, keep the absolute on the shelf. It's a system that's designed to keep correcting itself. The metric in the mix, yeah, he's calling us machines. Bearing tollback, dropping systems to find in the scene. Keep the whole out the how, keep the method in the lane. We ain't arguing the spirit, we're just measuring the lane. It's a specific epitherical branch, the root of the view. If it can't be measured, it's a different interview. Pseudo killer on the mic, breaking down the framework. Philosophy is science now, going to the brainwork. Point of absolutes, high availability. This is the foundation, the engine is running. Set Talk Season 2. Well, check the credentials. You lack the literacy for this level. Listen. Niggas doing they best, try to bless me. Try harder, keep failing the test, got no pedigree. Pushing killers, top dog versus ticks and fleas. In them all, trendsetters, everybody follow me. Line up, I make you beg for your life, praying on your knees. Lord, help on little dudes, ain't on my level, too hot, 33 degrees. Just so cold with it, watching niggas freeze. Psych cop, bubbly, flip lemon, nigga please. Got everybody talking science, but they can barely read it out. Said the ignorance is like a fucking disease. I'm really starting to question the mental capacity. Are you home? High school dropouts wanna compete with me. It's a cloud, get your gate up. It's a long condo where I be. Trying to retrofit the data just to match your prophecy. Claiming ancient secrets, but it's really just a wage stretch. Hard to learn a lesson when you're dying just to preach. Let's dismiss. Top floor view, stay grounded. Can't ignore when you sit at the top.
Welcome to Set Talks, where we separate fact from fiction. Mess it up a minute every time. It's that Set Talk, yeah, we set it straight. Cut through the noise, elevate the debate. No pseudo talk, no foggy claims. Just evidence-based when we build these frames. Set Talks, yeah, clarity first. If it ain't got method, it probably won't work. From ancient knowledge to modern science, we draw that line, that clear define. They say the ancients had science. Hold up, pause. Knowledge ain't the same as methodological laws. Observation, yeah, but control tests rare. No predictive models, you gotta be fair. We respect the past, but we keep it exact. Precision matters when you deal with facts. Astronomy grew, astrology split. One stayed empirical, one lean myth. The shift came through naturalistic method. Just and revised, that's how we embed it. Not culture bound, not tied to a place. It's a universal tool for the human race. This got Set Talks, yeah, you said it straight. Cut through the noise, elevate the debate. No pseudo talk, no foggy claims. Just evidence based when we build these frames. Set Talks, yeah, clarity first. If it ain't got method, it probably won't work. From ancient knowledge to modern science, we draw that line, that clear defiance. They blur definitions, start moving the goalposts. Turn fried to a claim that don't hold close. Science ain't on, this a process refined. Independent of culture, space and time. You can't redefine it to fit identity. That's how you lose all epistemic integrity. We test every claim, we don't just believe. If it can't be verified, we don't receive. From early observers to labs today, it's rigor and doubt that paved the way. Not name dropping scholars to win and debate, but data and method that validate. So what's your ideology? That's cool to ask, but truth ain't decided by the loudest class. We question it all, no sacred ground. If it don't hold up, we break it down. This that Set Talk, yeah, we live in direct. No fear in the facts, just intellectual respect. No more, no mirror, no fantasy, just truth, logic, and consistency.